Next on America's Day at the Races, undefeated in a 2-year-old campaign that included a win over eventual Preakness winner War of Will. Fog of War returns in the Paradise Creek. Favored in last year's Grade 1 hopeful, Mucho was an early Derby candidate for Belmont before anyone had ever heard of Country House. Will he take the turf in today's feature? And Hall of Famer Gary Stevens reflects back on his first Derby triumph on the filly winning colors. Today's feature race from Churchill Downs. All that and much more coming up on this Saturday edition of America's Day at the Races, brought to you in part by America's Best Racing. For the love of the race, visit americasbestracing.net today. And by Claiborne Farm, 100 years of doing the usual unusually well. Welcome to those joining us on MSG Plus, and welcome to the Memorial Day weekend coverage here of America's Day at the Races as we get set to bring you racing all weekend long, on Monday, of course, as well, on the holiday. Hope you're enjoying your holiday with your family. If you're not out here at the racetrack, we have some good races to bring you this afternoon, including the return of Fog of War, which we're going to talk about right now. Greg Wolf alongside 4-time Major League All-Star Paul LoDuca, New York Racing Association handicapper Andy Serling. So, long time off for Fog of War. We all know who he beat in that last race of his 2-year-old campaign. War of Will would go on to win the Preakness. What do you think coming back?
I have mixed feelings. He's obviously a very talented horse, and that was a turf race. War of Will's obviously blossomed on the dirt. He's the horse to beat in there. I'm just not sure that he's worth a super short price. I think it's a very competitive field, Paul.
Yeah, I get what you're saying, but when you win a race in your second career start, like the summer, which is a Grade 1, it's produced a lot of good horses, and the way he did it at 6-5, and he did beat War of Will. Like, it's hard not to see that name. The horse to beat, but I can understand where Andy's going there, because if you look at the One Strike Silver, I'm not really in love with that horse, but Mucho has numbers, and the talent, if he takes to the turf, can be a very, very big contender, at least to the favorite.
250-plus day layoff as well. If there's a time maybe to beat Fog of War, might be this afternoon. Serve us up a plate of that. That looked awfully good. We get set for racing coming up. We have the start of the NYRA Bets Late Pick 5 on the way. Weather and track conditions first. They're brought to you by Piranha Fly Spray, the preferred fly spray of Belmont Park. Piranha on, pests gone. We have great conditions. Main track is fast. Turf course is firm. Our races this afternoon brought to you by WinStar, the farm that pays you back. We'll have the 6th through 9th at Belmont Park. 10-race card today, of course. And at Churchill Downs, we'll be heading out there. Races 8 through 10. They are fast and firm. The Grade 3 winning colors, their feature. We'll check in with our Hall of Fame jockey, Gary Stevens, who, of course, won the Kentucky Derby on the filly back in 1988. All right, we kick off our NYRA Bets Late Pick 5. In race number 6, it's 6 furlongs over the inner turf, entry-level allowance, and Wesley Ward with a couple of fillies in this race.
Yeah, and they're the first two choices, I think, if you look at the multi-race bets, and I can understand that. Coming from different places. Mentality of the two is the only 4-year-old in the field.
Yeah, so all the other horses, she's carrying 125. All the other horses are going to be carrying 120 because she is a 4-year-old.
Here's our post-break. We start with Moravia. She was group placed in Ireland before she came to the States at Keeneland.
I know Greg likes her more than I do. She's the other one for trainer Jorge Abreu. I don't see it.
Mentality 1 of 2 for Wesley Ward. We've got to know here on the New York circuit here. Dylan Davis rides.
Yeah, I thought they might bet the other Wesley, but, you know, she's had some very, very good success over the Belmont turf. 4 starts, 2 wins and 2/3.
The more highly regarded Wesley runner, Chelsea Cloyster. She's faced the boys 3 times. She's been second to them every single time.
Listen, she was second to Bulletin, who's obviously one of the fastest sprinters, female sprinters, and then she ran a good 3rd last time out at Keeneland. She's the one to beat.
Brooke Marie, 8-1. Joel Rosario for Christophe Clement.
Feels like a starting point for this 3-year-old for Christophe Clement, who hasn't started since November.
Stellar Agent. She was actually the morning line favorite, Jorge Abreu.
Yeah, you know, she was 71-1 in newspaper paper record, and she ran a good 3rd, 2 back, and now she's coming back in distance where she broke her maiden.
Yeah, only time spurting on the turf, she won by 3.5 lengths. And here's positive skew on the outside. Chad Brown, Javier Castellano, 7-2.
Hey, she's trying to find an identity, and her 1 turf sprint, she'd have to improve off that, but it was her debut.
All right, that is your field here for our first leg, again, of a sequence that kicks off The NYRA Bets late pick 5. You can play the sequence, and if you reside outside the state of New York, the only way to play it is with NYRA Bets. Get signed up, get started, play along. When you get signed up, bet $200. You will get a $200 new member bonus when you use that promo code LIVE at sign up at any track, anywhere, anytime. NYRABets.com. All right, Paul LoDuca, kind enough to put together a pick 5 here. It's not easy today.
No, it's not. And I'm going to go 6-7 to start. I'm going to try to beat both Wesley Wars. I can't believe the 6 is 6-1. I understand the morning line was probably a little heavy, but I love this horse's first race going around one turn. Race number 7, the 2 and the 3, Linda's Ballet. We'll get to that horse. She was really running weird in the lane in her last start, but I think you have to use her. I don't know what you want to do with the first-time starters in there. Race number 8, 1, 3, 5, 7, 8. I am going to single Fog of War, and I thought the last race was 2, 4, 5, 7. My tie one on is my long shot in the last for the day.
I'm not going to throw in my long shot, the 8 in the last, Paul.
Commute.
Why not? Got a terrible trip in the last turf sprint.
Maybe I'll go back.
Throw that one.
That race is wide open. I thought the 2 had a big chance in there as well. Let's check in with the 4th member of our crew this afternoon, Maggie Wolfendale.
Hey guys, and we see horses warming up out on the track, and while I agree with the public that Chelsea Cloisters, she will be formidable here, really have no complaints about her, I want to check in with her New York bred stablemate and the eldest horse in here. That's number 2, Mentality. Now, I'm not exactly sure why she is skipping the optional 40 condition in which she's still eligible. Then again, maybe the racing office or the condition book didn't fill or what have you, but she finds herself in an open allowance. Yes, she has won more races than any other horse in here, and she's a year older. I don't love her, though, coming back. I've seen her look better. I've seen her just be a bit stronger across that top line. Her coat is getting there, but it's not really where it needs to be. Look, I appreciate the seasoning and her ability. I just don't know if today is going to be the day. Now, the 2 for trainer Jorge Abreu interest me. Number 1 is Moravia, and while I'm a big fan of Joelle Rosario's, her last race and where he rode her at Keeneland was not his finest hour. This is a horse that was her first start in the States. They tend to usually break on the slower side. She did. He hustled her for a 16th of a mile, and instead of dropping her over when he had the opportunity to get cover, and horses in Europe are trained that way. They are trained to run and settle behind horses. He left her out in no man's land. She got ranked down the backside and obviously didn't have anything left in the tank going the mile that day. She turns back in distance, and physically, guys, I love what I'm seeing from her for that. She's smaller, she's shorter coupled, and she is sharp here in the paddock. In the paddock and on track. She's moving beautifully. I really like what I'm seeing from her. She's very fit, very defined. Moving on to his other horse coming back off of a layoff, number 6, Stellar Agent. She will cut back in distance where she's only won her only race, which is going 5.5 up at Saratoga. I will say that she's actually gotten a bit longer in her frame, so I'm not exactly sure that this is going to be her finest distance going the 6 furlongs, but it's a good place to start. I like the way she looks here, but we'll see how she does. Moving on to number 7, Positive Skew, another turn back. This one for Chad Brown. I thought the turn back was interesting for the fact that you watch her races at Gulfstream, and it feels like she needs a little pace to quicken in front of her, in which she's going to get it, obviously, going the 6 furlongs. Last time out, Trenchtown Cat just kind of got to control things out in the front end. Physically, though, she's not necessarily built for it. She's okay, but, you know, a Chad Brown horse, she's at 7-2 right now. I guess that's what you're going to get with Chad, with a horse that looks a bit slower on paper, guys.
Great crowd on hand here on this Saturday afternoon. Well, Stellar Agent, who Maggie was talking about, one of the several she mentioned in here, coming out of a race in which this filly faced a nice one named Concrete Rose. That's a horse who was 4 for 5 lifetime on the turf and a multiple graded stakes winner.
Yeah, I understand what Maggie, you know, this is a horse that she broke her maiden sprinting, but she obviously ran better when she went longer. She also might have improved. This was an impressive win. It was a visually impressive win. I think she's a very dangerous. I'm with Paul here. I know we all actually, this is a rare time I think we all agree a little bit. She's a very big player in this race.
Yeah, she is, because when you win like she did her first time out, That's why they put her in the Grade 2 company. She didn't disgrace herself.
Not at all.
They put her in the Breeders' Cup Juvenile Filly Turf. She didn't disgrace herself at all. She ran third. I mean, her comeback race in the Florida Oaks.
She had a terrible trip that day.
She had a brutal trip.
She was out in the 4-path the whole way around the track.
Yeah, so maybe this cutback in distance will let her just run freely. They just let her just pop out of the gate and just let her just get into stride. And she could be dangerous here in the late stages.
And she might just be a better sprinter.
Well, the figures are faster going longer, so it's hard to know, but we know she can be efficient sprinting, and she deserves a chance to show what she can do at 3.
Well, here's Chelsea Cloisters. So, again, 1 of 2 in the race for Wesley Ward. She got beat by her stablemate last time out, Stillwater Cove, another nice Wesley Ward runner. She has faced very difficult competition. What's your reservations here with her?
My slight I picked her second. I'm not against her. I'm a little worried the 6 furlongs is a stretch for her. What do you guys think?
I think so, too. I think that's the worry for Wesley Ward. And who's faster, truly faster of his 2 horses, the 2 or the 4? You can argue the 2's faster. So now if you let the 2 go to the front end, does Chelsea Cloisters really like to pass horses?
Well,
she's got a tiny bit of hang.
I just think she's faced worlds tougher.
I get that.
She's faced good horses.
Strike Silver.
Mentality's okay.
Then her stablemate. Yeah. So the last start, and there's this stat, you showed this earlier on your Talking Horses show. This is not a great stat.
Well, it shows when they come back, and this is like a specific stat, 4 to 8 months. In other words, a natural sort of winter layoff. When he runs these turf sprinters here, they usually need a race. And that's really what that stat says.
So that would be the case with Mentality here. And, you know, even looking at that last race, maybe I'm wrong. I didn't love that stretch run from her. Did you?
I did because I bet the winner who paid $70. So I love the stretch run, actually. But getting back to your point, no, I agree. She's got a little hang in her, too. Maggie likes your horse near Greg, Moravia, the 1. Why do you like this horse?
Well, obviously, she faced some very good company overseas. She really didn't run poorly at all. I think you throw out that first race, right, coming to the States at Keeneland.
Less distance is better?
I would think so. And sometimes, you know, a lot of times the horses come here from Europe and they don't get out well, they don't adjust right, and that second start they run a lot better.
She was, the chart caller got it right. She was ranked. She was not having any of it.
And to be fair, it's a very competitive field, but there's nobody that's that tough that she couldn't win the race.
Mm-hmm.
I don't think there's anybody in the race that's just way the horse to beat.
Yeah.
Showed you that showdown contest. Get involved. That's without risking any of your own money. Go to NYRA.com/showdown. You're competing for real prizes with races 6 through 10 on the card today at Belmont. There is Chelsea Cloisters. She is a 6-5 favorite. Her stablemate from post 2, Mentality. Double trouble for Wesley Ward. We'll see what happens here in the first leg of this NYRA Bets late pick 5. Good luck. Let's send it upstairs for the call to the voice of horse racing's Triple Crown. For the call, Larry Collmus.
Agent now moving into the starting gate. We'll leave just 1 left to load. That's Positive Skew, who comes up to the outside stall and is just a bit reluctant to step forward here. Now goes in and backs out. $7-5 right now on Chelsea Cloisters. Positive Skew is in there now, and they're all in line. They're off. Moravia missed the break by a bit. It is Mentality out for the lead with Chelsea Cloisters. Now Moravia comes through on the inside after a tardy beginning and grabs 3rd. Stellar Agent is 4th on the outside, and then it's Brooke Marie, and Positive Skew is last. Mentality on top of the favorite Chelsea Cloisters by a length and a half, racing for the far turn. And then it's Moravia to the inside, looking to get out of there, and Headstrong and Rank as they move into that turn. Stellar Agent next on the outside at 22.32 first quarter. And then it's Positive Skew and Brooke Marie 5 lengths off of front-running Mentality, who leads Chelsea Cloisters by a length on the far turn. Stellar Agent coming up to them on the far outside. And now these 3 will come to the top of the stretch, and right behind them is Moravia in 4th. Positive Skew swings up on the far outside. Brooke Marie's trying to get going too. They're into the stretch. Mentality the leader. Chelsea Cloisters, Stellar Agent, Brooke Marie closing on the outside. Positive Skew down the middle, and Moravia. They all have to catch Mentality, who's still there close to home. Brooke Marie closing late down to these 2. Mentality, Brooke Marie. Mentality all the way over Brooke Marie. And then Chelsea Cloisters in a photo with Stellar Agent. in 108.44.
Mentality able to hang on for Wesley Ward. Brooke Marie was making a late charge. Huge price at 17-1.
And listen, we talked about 2 Wesley Ward horses in this race together, and I said it right before the race. Mentality is faster than Chelsea Cloisters, and Johnny V let the 2 and Dylan Davis slow that second quarter, Andy, to 23 and change.
No, I
That won the
agree.
race.
That's a very tepid pace. Even the first quarter for horses on this turf course has just gotten very firm, and they sort of dominated a little harness action, you know, the old shotgun, and she was able to waltz up front. But as you said it before the race. I think anybody looking at the race could see they were the 2 speeds, and they were able to dominate. Brooke Marie, a big surprise. She really stepped forward for Christophe.
She was the only one that really ran on. The 6 looked like she was in good position. She didn't move on. You're right.
Chelsea
The 5
Cloisters can't finish.
really ran on. You're right. Chelsea Cloisters, you're starting to realize, can't really stalk. Needs the lead.
We're going to head to Louisville over at Churchill Downs as we continue with live coverage from Churchill all spring meet long. Gary Stevens, he actually rode May Never Know to her maiden score way back in May at Belmont here, giving Tyler Bays a little advice on this filly. Let's go to Churchill Downs and Hall of Famer Gary Stevens. Real quick, we'll take a look at this field. It is a group of 9 that will line up, and May Never Know was 7-2 on the morning line. Yeah, Gary rode this filly to victory very first time out, then they put her in the Tremont at Belmont.
Yeah, which is tough sledding the Tremont, but she was very good. After that, when she went to sloppy racetrack, she won the Colleen. Then she went to the Speakeasy at Santa Anita when they moved those races to 5 furlongs on the turf, and I thought she ran okay.
I think she's going to appreciate a fast track
Yeah,
today,
I
even
think
though
so
she wanted
too.
a wet track.
Yeah.
Prior to getting a leg up, Gary Stevens visited with Tyler Bays.
Tyler, I got a text this morning from Wesley. He's in Miami. He's headed to Lexington. Didn't know if he was going to make it here or not, and ridden this filly 3 times, as you saw. He asked me if I could talk to you. She's not tricky, pretty straightforward. Keep her quiet during the post parade, and she's going to leave there like a quarter horse, and just snug her up a little bit. Don't take her back, just make her comfortable. Doesn't matter if she's on the lead. She's probably better if she's tracking somebody. When you come into the stretch, if you've got a squeezer coming off the stretch, the question if she's going to be able to get 6.5 furlongs or not. She's only got an 1/8 of a mile run in her, so make sure it's the last 1/8. I mean, if you got to start asking her sooner, she's not good enough. But Wes said she's doing good, and you know, go out and do your thing. What? You got any questions, brother?
Nope. I watched all the replays, and I'm going to listen to you and wait as long as I can, and hopefully get the job done.
Yeah, ride her like I did the first time, not in the Tremont. I pushed the button too early that day. She made the lead real easy, and you saw what she did.
Yeah, no, I'll be waiting as long as I can, that's for sure.
All right, don't mess it up. Good luck.
Thanks.
Guys, back to you.
Hey, no pressure there at all with a Hall of Famer telling you some riding instructions. And yeah, Gary told me Wesley Ward said basically just tell Tyler to ride her like you did first time out.
I know, right?
That means win, right? I mean, finish first?
Exactly.
Yeah.
Okay, good.
8th from Churchill Downs coming up. Tyler Bass will be on the 6 horse. May Never Know, but that is Catherine the Great's for Mark Cassie. Quick break. We'll be back.
Runhappy is simply super. He polishes off an outstanding campaign with a dominant victory in the Malibu.
No medication, no problem. Runhappy, standing at Claiborne Farm.
This graded stakes winner and multiple Grade 1 performer by Tappet has become one of the nation's leading sires of 2-year-olds. Ranked number 1 in his crop by number of winners, he sired 11 stakes horses in 2017, including graded stakes winners Wild Shot and Oklahoma Derby winner Untrapped. At the sales, his yearlings have sold up to $480,000. Trap Shot, standing at Claiborne Farm.
You're watching America's Day at the Races on MSG Plus. Our show brought to you in part by the champion sprinter Runhappy. Raced medication-free his entire career, never lost while sprinting. now standing at Claiborne Farm for $25,000. We're going to see his offspring in racing action in 2020, and we cannot wait. We have a cross-country pick 5 for you this afternoon as well. It begins at 4:31 Eastern Time. Kicks off with the 9th at Monmouth. The Grade 3 Salvatore Mile includes the 10th and 11th from Monmouth at Monmouth Stakes, Grade 2 in the 11th, and then races 9 and 10 from Belmont. The 9th, of course, to Paradise Creek, and the return of Fog of War. Get involved. Free PPs for the sequence. Available at NYRA.com/cross-country. We are going to send it out to Gary Stevens as we get set for race 8 from Churchill. I thought Gary was going to rip the silks off of Tyler Bays and hop on the horse. May never know. Gary, take it away.
All right, Greg, thank you. Philly, she was getting a little bit hotter, and I would have liked to see her in the paddock, but she's calmed down out there now. I'll tell you, the 2 Philly, she kind of stood out in the paddock. She's a good price right now. She looked good. And also the 5, Iston Council, she was a standout. She was the best-looking filly in there to me, so keep your eye on those 2. Take it away, boys.
All right, Gary, thanks. So Iston Council, the 5, from a look standpoint, from our Hall of Famer, making a nice impression, 7-2 right now.
I'm dying to see what Paul's pick, Catherine the Great, did here. I went 6-7 my picks because she looked so good at Saratoga, and she just, I'm wondering if she could run it all anymore.
Yeah, Mark's tried everything, put blinkers on her. That race at Saratoga, if she runs a race, she wins this race by a pole. And the 5 is the Council for Chantel Sutherland, who's having a good start to that meet.
Catherine the Great from Post 7, the Schuylerville winner from last year for Mark Cassidy. Let's send it out to Travis Stone for the call. You're watching Churchill Downs live coverage on America's Day at the Races on MSG+.
They're in the gate. And they're off. Catherine the Great and May Never Know, fastest out of the gate. Best kept secret for that inside draw, sent up on through. So that one goes head-to-head with Catherine the Great up the backstretch. Athens Queen comes on to be 3rd. Shanghai Rain at the inside is running along in 4th. Proven Appeal is away 5th. Angel Alessandra on the move inside 6th. Into trouble in 7th. Iston Council is 8th. May Never Know's at the back of the pack. Down the backstretch they go. Best Kept Secret hustled along up top with 4 furlongs left. Catherine the Great trying to keep pace with her. The opening quarter mile in 22 and 1/5 seconds. Shanghai Rain is waiting back in 3rd. Athens Queen is getting going from 4th, winding up on the far outside. Then it's Peruvian Appeal running along in 5th. Angel Alessandra 6th. Iston Council's picking it up from the back, trying to muster up a late rally. 5 lengths to make up. Quarter mile to go, and Catherine the Great to catch. Catherine the Great off the turn in front. Shanghai Rain to the attack. Here comes Shanghai Rain and Peruvian Appeal. Finding straight on the outside. Iston Council's coming on late. Angel Alessandra trying to weave through the field. There's 1 furlong to go. Shanghai Rain, Catherine the Great, Peruvian Appeal. These 3 right across the track, and now Peruvian Appeal is up for the lead, but it's a narrow lead. Shanghai Rain, Iston Council. Here's the wire. Peruvian Appeal won it. Half length on the wire. It's tight for 2nd. Shanghai Rain or Iston Council.
Florent Giroux, Brad Cox, and Peruvian Appeal picks up the 3rd win of her career. Back-to-back wins now.
Coming from Oaklawn, you know, she got a nice trip to win last time out, but she stepped it up. This was a tougher field. Paul, Catherine the Great, to me, shows how tough this game is.
Yeah, I know.
She looked like she could have been 2-year-old champ the way she won the Schuylerville opening day at Saratoga, and she just seems like she can't really run anymore.
No, she was trying her hardest, too, on the inside.
Yeah.
Both the horses, the 9 and a great call by Gary saying the 5 looked great because she ran on here well. They were both 4 or 5 wide, but sustained move, and Florent Giroux is really riding well, and back-to-back wins. Brad Cox is starting to heat up.
Back at Belmont Park, start of our NYRA Bets Late Pick 5. Mentality, forwardly placed by Dylan Davis, and a gritty effort to hang on.
It was a gritty effort. You know, outran her stablemate in the beginning of this race, and then has to hold off to hard-charging Brooke Marie and Joel Rosario, because we know how good he is at finishing a race. But Mentality just had enough left to get done, and they better from 6-1 to 5-2.
And it's funny you pointed out again. We talked about it yesterday. Joel Rosario in these turf sprints, whatever chance his mounts have, he maximizes.
Yeah.
Very scary when you see that man coming from the back of the pack. If you don't have that one on your ticket. Mentality, $7.90 for the win, owned by Lindy Farms, and Wesley Ward can win off the layoff with these. We showed that stat. Not the best of what he does, but able to get it done here with Mentality.
Yeah,
off
the other
bench.
part about this, New York bred. So you got to give a little holler. Freud out of a Lemon Drop Kid. So she goes out of New York bred company and wins.
You know, they start with an advantage, Paul.
I know.
So Mentality kicks off our sequence, and a favorite beats in the opening leg to start us off.
Yes.
Got a long way to go.
Yeah. But a lot of money in the pool today. I love it.
You're alive, right? No.
No.
Yeah. Believe me, it's a hard race. Hard
Race
sequence.
7. It only gets more difficult from here. We're on the turf, 7 furlongs on the Widener turf course. New York bred maiden special weight. Linda's Ballet got on the turf for her second start of her career for Linda Rice. Wound up being beat a half length.
Yeah, you know, it's funny.
Bizarre stretch run, too, which we'll show you.
I asked Maggie to look at it, and we'll let Maggie talk from the paddock and more about it. I had thought maybe she was kind of lugging it a little bit. Maggie thought it was more an issue of her switching leads a lot in the stretch.
Okay.
And we get to the paddock, Maggie talk more about it. But she
almost
clearly,
reared.
yeah, she clearly was giving Junior Alvarado fits in the stretch, no question about it.
When you see it, you think she bucks, like you say in your rear, and it's weird. So, yeah, I like to hear Maggie's thoughts about it, but it's a weird stretch run, and she almost won the race.
Greatest Belmont performance ever. That statue right there, perhaps. Secretariat. Of course, we're going to have the Belmont coming up June 8th right here. Looks like we are going to have a full field, and despite no Triple Crown on the line, or a Will making his way here. He's going to come a week from Monday, it sounds like. But it's going to be a fun race. That Belmont Stakes Racing Festival, the 6th through the 8th. Tickets on sale now. You can get them at Ticketmaster.com or at BelmontStakes.com. You can also enhance your experience with an all-inclusive premium hospitality package upgrade. Quick break and we'll be back.
This successful son of AP Indy has sired 6 millionaires, including Eclipse champion West Coast. This year, Flatter is adding even more stakes winners to his outstanding record at stud. In the auction ring, Flatter topped the 2018 Fasig-Tipton July sale with a $520,000 yearling. And this year, his juveniles have sold up to $375,000. Success on the track, success in the ring. Flatter, standing at Claiborne Farm.
There's one thing that everybody wants in our game is they want speed. Daredevil has the speed. You know that he ran a 107 buyer when he won the Champagne Stakes, the Grade 1. That's faster than Uncle Mo, Scat Daddy, and Union Rag.
As a 2-year-old, he ran a 96 buyer when he broke his maiden, a 107 buyer in the Champagne, beating a nice horse in Upstart. He is by more than ready, another feather in his cap. I can't wait to see these horses run it too.
So my name is Robbie Hertzel. I'm the yearling manager here at Claiborne Farm, and we've got the first crop of Runhappies this year. Overall, I'm very, very pleased with them. So we have a colt out of Queen of America. He's really nice, looks just like his dad. Very pleased with how he's coming along. So there was a lot of demand for the weanlings last year. They sold for over 6 times their stud fee, and we're really excited for the yearlings to come through the sales, and we're expecting big things from them.
Runhappy, standing at Claiborne Farm.
It's America's original sport, and no one covers it better than americasbestracing.net. From the sport to the lifestyle, the best races, horses, and destination venues, cocktails, gambling, fashion, and more. americasbestracing.net is a sport for you. Live it, love it, bet it.
Welcome to America's Day at the Races, and those just joining us on Fox Sports 2. Great to have you with us on this long Memorial Day weekend. Show brought to you in part by America's Best Racing. For the love of the race, visit americasbestracing.net today. And by Claiborne Farm, 100 years of doing the usual unusually well. Beautiful weather on this Saturday afternoon here in Elmont, New York. We also have live coverage all show long from Louisville at Churchill Downs, and our Hall of Fame jockey Gary Stevens providing us with live insight out there. I'm Greg Wolf, joined by 4-time Major League All-Star Paul LoDuca, New York Racing Association handicapper Andy Serling. Our feature race today, the Paradise Creek, who of course was sensational back in that 1994 campaign. Today's race, we're going to see the return of Fog of War, who was undefeated as a 2-year-old coming in off a 250-day layoff.
He's obviously a very promising runner and undefeated. He won a Canadian Grade 1, beating War of Will. We'll see. I think this is a pretty interesting race, though. I'm interested in a lot of horses in that race.
Yeah, we're just so used to seeing the Chad Brown horses just dominate on the turf. And there's a horse that won first time out, goes over to Canada at Woodbine. Tough place to run your second career start, different configuration. Almost similar to Belmont with the sweeping turns. That's why I think he's still the one to beat, but tougher field, obviously.
Went to the sidelines, too. Missed the Breeders' Cup with an injury, so coming back from that as well. We'll talk more about our feature, the Paradise Creek, in just a little bit. This race is what we have next, though. Race 7 kicks off our late pick 4. It is 7 furlongs on the turf, a New York-bred maiden special weight event, so everyone looking for their first career victory here. As you can tell from the board, it is wide open. Linda's Ballet, our 4-1 favorite. Let's head downstairs for a paddock report right now and check in with Maggie Wolfendale.
Wow, Greg, this is a head scratcher. There's so many directions you can go in. There's a plethora of first-time starters, some horses trying the turf for the first time, some horses coming out of races with excuses. So let's begin with the one that's a new face as far as New York bred company is concerned, and that is number 3, Fight Night. Blinkers come off, and she'll make her first start for trainer George Weaver. Yes, she does have some speed coming out of those 6.5 furlong races, or I should say her one race on the turf down the hill 2 starts ago. She is fine here. I have no problem with her. She fits with these. I'm wondering if the 7 becomes a little too far for her, to be quite honest. She's a little bit on the smaller side. Look, she's well conditioned. I'd rather find something that might be a bigger price in here, to be honest. She can win, but I'm just not overly enthused by her. Next, we'll check in with one of 2 Jeremiah Englehart horses. Number 4, Riot. Took a lot of money, and I was wondering why that day. A filly who was prepared, a New York-bred filly, by the way, who was prepared down at Laurel. If you really thought that Jeremiah had a nice New York bred on his hands, he would have been preparing her up here. I don't know. That's just what I thought. And furthermore, actually, my husband trained one of this horse's siblings, and she was not much. But I will say she was a bit better on the turf. And this filly does look like a turf horse. Though, once again, while physically she looks great in here, very docile, very quiet. I'd rather see her come back with a little more pep in her step than what she's shown here. And again, those front bandages stay on. Like I've always said, horses typically don't run in any bandages on the turf, and she's running in all 4. Checking in with a few first-time starters. Number 1 is Fetching, big daughter of a Fleet Alex, and probably the most well-prepared. She's the fittest, she's the sharpest of any of the first-time starters, really well-muscled. And talking with Mark Cassie's assistant here, Jamie Begg, he said that, yeah, she might want a little bit longer than this. But actually, my husband also training another one of the siblings to this horse, and she's twice the size as her. Again, not much of a family to speak of, but they all wanted a little more ground too. So I'm kind of thinking that Jamie might be right, despite her being really ready. So maybe the 7 furlongs works out well and in her favor. And then we'll check in with John Terranova's firster. That's number 7, Happy Music, a daughter of Mission Impossible. The dam was good enough on the turf. The siblings haven't panned out to be much, but John can win with these first-time starting types on the turf here especially. She's really fit coming in here. Once they put the tack on her, she kind of livened up and woke up a bit. I like to see that. Great coat to her. Hopefully she minds her P's and Q's here, getting a little too riled up. But again, a guy who's capable of winning with one first time out. Greg?
All right, Maggie, thank you. Happy Music, first-time starter. They're taking some play. It was 12-1 morning line, 5-1 right now. This is the runner on the outside, though, who is definitely intriguing off a debut run in which she had all kinds of trouble, Summer Fantasy.
Yeah, in a lot of ways, I think you look at her as a first-time starter with a sort of hidden bad, like not bad race that looks bad, so she's a much bigger price because she broke slowly in that race, about a length and a half slowly, and she ran right up to the leaders, got herself in position, and then as the turn broke, she just got completely sawed off. And basically at that point, Albert Castellano had no choice. He pretty much eased her up at that
Drop back to last, just completely lost separation with the whole field.
And I just think she might, we don't know if she can run, but we saw her do a little running early. And at a huge price, she's just the kind of horse you're probably supposed to throw in your play somewhere.
Meanwhile, Linda's Ballet, she wound up 3rd, beat a half length in her turf debut. That was start number 2. Her stretch run, something obviously spooked her a bit.
Yeah,
here.
real quick, watch here. There it is once. And then towards the end of the race, she's going to drift out. Like, she starts running straight right here. Looks like she's going to get to the winner. She's going up and down a little bit, but again, she's going to shy away from something and lug out late in stretch here as soon as the one got inside of her.
And, you know, I'll tell you, she is swapping leads different times. There was some discussion, you know, are there tire tracks? And there aren't on the turf courses here, but it can't be tire tracks because she did it multiple times. You know what I mean? She did it 2 or 3 different times in the stretch.
Yeah.
So I don't think she found tire tracks at different parts of the stretch. She just sort of acted weird. The question is, what can Linda do so that she doesn't do it again today?
No, it could have been a shadow she saw, or, you know, like, or Maggie's talking about leads. You just don't know. Like,
Ghost of Christmas Past.
Yeah, it's like, are you going to get it again? And do you want to take 7-2 on a filly? You know, has her mind gotten right since that last start? Because if she does that again, she's not beating this field.
Maybe she saw at maximum security, saw in the Kentucky Derby.
Wow.
Interesting. We'll see if she can run straight in the stretch. If she can, obviously, she's a major player. If not, the horse to beat in this field.
I would think so. Her and the 3 of the horses that have run, but there's so much uncertainty here with all the rest of the fillies that haven't run, you know?
So she is a mild favorite at 7-2. For Linda Rice, Jose Ortiz, he will be aboard. It was Junior Alvarado was on board in that race that we showed you. But right there, look at Summer Fantasy. And here comes our post parade. Here's Fetching, first-time starter. Dan was actually a multiple winner on the turf.
Yeah, but she's produced 4 horses that couldn't run a step on the turf or dirt.
11-1 on that first. Linda's Ballet, here's the one we showed you with that stretch run.
Yeah, 7-2, and Jose Ortiz is aboard. I think Junior Alvarado was like, okay, I've had enough. And then Jose will get aboard, but him and Linda, they don't team up a ton, but they're 10% together.
Fight Night comes in from the West Coast for George Weaver.
I think this horse is the horse to beat. Dueled with the eventual winner going 6.5 down the field. That was against Open in California, now New York breds.
Riot, second-time starter for Jeremiah Engelhardt.
This horse was your tepid, I guess your second choice, but almost a heavy favorite. He hit the gate last time and lost all chance getting bet today.
Bridgeton Lady, first-time starter. Dam never tried the turf.
Yeah, she has produced 1 turf winner. It's probably more dirt, but there's enough to say that this horse might be able to handle it.
Here's the 6 Vitanza, 22-1.
Yeah, first-time starter here for Jimmy Bonds, having a monster meet by Get Stormy, and Luis Saez will be in the irons.
Happy Music, so the first-time starter taking play here, down from 12-1 to 5-1.
Yeah, the board is saying this one can run. We'll see if she drifts up. She has a smidgen of turf pedigree, at least in the dam side.
Another first-time starter, this one from Mark Hennig, daughter of Datalink, Cape Cod Diva.
And Datalink had his best day at Keeneland and on the Maker's Mark Mile. And here's a horse that got a shot.
Big second dam, Roshani.
Yeah, 22.
Very nice
I'm
turf
surprised
runner
at 22
for
to
Mark
1.
Hennig, for Grand Motion.
Sanders Mine, look out. Strong closing rider we just saw in the last race. Joel Rosario on board a horse who was coming late last out.
Yeah, I wondered if she was running when the race was over, but doesn't hurt to get Joel.
Gunboat Diplomacy. She was just third, beat 2 lengths at a big number last start.
Yeah, I didn't think it was a bad race. She sort of grinded away a little bit, and maybe she's going to like the extra furlong.
Plink Freud for trainer Tom Bush. Irad Ortiz Jr.
I just haven't seen it from her. She's had her chance at all sorts of distances, and her return race was abysmal.
And the one who had all that trouble in her debut Summer Fantasy for Jeremiah Engelhardt.
Yeah, Freud representing himself a lot in here, obviously being in the New York program. But Summer Fantasy will put the blinkers on with a better trip. 24-1 looks a little juicy.
Let's go downstairs to Maggie.
Please be joined here by trainer of Linda's Ballet, Linda Rice. And Linda, first of all, is this one named after you?
Yes, I believe it is. That was not my doing.
Well, she showed some promise last time, Linda. Talk a little bit about her kind of bobbing and weaving in the stretch.
Yeah, she ran pretty green. She looked like she liked the grass. We started her once in the dirt at Aqueducts, prepping for the turf. I thought she'd like it with her pedigree. She did, but she was pretty sensitive and green. I told Jose Ortiz to just, try to ride quiet on her, sit still, because if he gets too busy on her, she's going to flip leads and back and forth, and so hopefully we have a good trip today.
Did you change any equipment with her?
No, we haven't. I just think she needs some seasoning.
And also this Monday, Memorial Day, the Big Apple Showcase Day, sending out the undefeated, newly minted, wow, in the Bowery. She looks so promising, Linda.
Yeah, she was, you know, we had to wait a long time on her. Bought her a year ago and had sore shins and this and that, but she was certainly worth the wait, and we're excited about the Bowery.
We are too. Linda, best of luck here and on Monday.
Thank you, Maggie.
All right, guys, back to you.
All right, Maggie, thank you. So here is Linda's runner, Linda's Ballet. Still favored at 7-2 here, making her second turf start.
I say one thing. I think this is going to be a much tougher field than she faced last time. A lot of unknowns in here that can potentially run.
Well, after an adventurous trip in the stretch, which we showed you for Linda's Ballet, can she run straight this afternoon? We'll be back.
Our summer cruise is here at Spruce Lane Farm, and he's been a really intelligent horse since he got on the farm.
He's just got great balance and presence. He's got a really good mind, and he does everything that we like to do so far. Our plans for this colt are probably to take him to Saratoga or to Keeneland Book 1 or 2. He fits those. We paid $250,000 for him, so he was an expensive horse, but that's where he belongs.
Runhappy, standing at Claiborne Farm.
There's a power so selfless, it has the ability to heal, to inspire, to unite, to change your life.
An undefeated graded stakes winner on the track, Algorithms was the nation's #1 sire of 2-year-olds in 2017 by percentage of winners. His top runners include Rich Mommy, winner of the Grade 3 Sugar Swirl, multiple stakes winner and graded stakes performer Recruiting Ready, stakes winner and graded stakes performer Vanish, and recent stakes winners Taylor's Spirit and Tracy Racing. In the ring, his 2-year-olds have brought prices up to $300,000. Algorithms, standing at Claiborne Farm.
Welcome back to America's Day at the Races. We are at the gate here for race number 7. I want to talk about the outside runner, Long Shot, who will be my pick. Summer Fantasy. I think she had a lot of excuses last time. She had to stand behind the gate for a long time. There were 2 late scratches that day, and then she had to stand in the gate even more when another few horses did not want to load. Then she was checked around the turn, and I just want to give her another shot. I really liked her that day. The blinkers go on for Jeremiah. And guys, I'm joined by a special guest, Miss Grace Morley. Gracie, which number do you like?
2.
That's right. Number 2, Linda's Ballet, Greg.
See how sharp the handicapping is from the young one.
You know, right?
I like that pick.
Yeah, and I hope Gracie's right because that's who I picked.
Okay.
Okay, so.
Public winding up there as well.
5-2.
5-2, yeah.
She's an underlay at 5-2. She can win. I mean, I would use her protectively, but seems like an awfully short. Frankly, it seems like an awfully short price taking anybody this race.
That's true.
And this kicks off the late pick 4. Not an easy race to start this sequence.
Well, there's so many unknowns, right? The 3's first time in New York against New York breds, first time turfers, first time starters. You know, to take 5-2 on the number 2, Linda's Ballet, who ran okay in her last turf race. I mean, you're basically saying all the unknowns won't handle the turf or can't run.
True.
And that's an awfully short price on that, you know?
And that final time in that race did not set any records.
No, my sundial did not even get hot timing that race.
Nevertheless, Linda's Ballet from post 2. Looks like she will be your post-time favorite here in the race that starts off this late pick 4. You are watching America's Day at the Races on Fox Sports 2 and MSG+. Let's send it upstairs for the call to the voice of horse racing's Triple Crown, Larry Collmus. Take it away.
And here is Blitchton Lady moving into the starting gate. Up to stall 5 along with Gunboat Diplomacy. Linda's Ballet is now down to 2-1. A strong favorite on the tote board as the last few runners load here. Blitchton Lady is coming up to her spot in the starting gate after being just a bit reluctant, but she's in there now. And here comes Vicenza. Gunboat Diplomacy taking her spot in the starting gate. Plink Freud coming up to stall 11. As Vicenza steps forward, and that'll leave just one left to load. Summer Fantasy and Mike Luzzy will take their position in the outside stall for this field of 12. Summer Fantasy coming forward. And moving in. They're all in line. They're off. Plink Freud started quickly. Here comes Riot up to grab the lead along with Linda's Ballet, who now moves up into second position. And then it's Vicenza third on the outside, followed by Blitzton Lady. Moving up on the far outside is Summer Fantasy getting closer. And then it's Fight Night. Break of another 2.5 to Fetching along the rail. Another 2.5 more to Gunboat Diplomacy. Sendra's Mind to the outside. Then Cape Con Diva and slow starting Happy Music at the back of the pack. 22.31 the opening quarter mile, and it's Riot in front. 3/4 of a length over Vicenza running in second. Summer Fantasy is third and moving on the outside by another 2. And then comes Fight Night outside of Linda's Ballet. Fetching is 5.5 lengths from the front midway on the far turn. So the one to catch is Riot. Kendra Carmouche and Riot have run 45.17 for a half. They've got a 2-length lead. Summer Fantasy is second. Fight Night is third. Vicenza under pressure in fourth on the inside. Here comes Plink Freud. Moving up on the far outside strongly, and right behind her is Linda's Ballet. Fetching is in behind horses. Coming to the 8th pole, Pink Floyd to the front. On the outside, here comes Linda's Ballet. It's these two with Fetching driving through on the inside. Plink Freud's got it close to home, but here comes Fetching up the rail. And Fetching runs by and beats Plink Freud by a length and a half. Linda's Ballet was third, and Sendra's Mind was fourth.
First-time starter, Fetching, Marcassi, Manny Franco with the win here in race 7.
You know, sometimes you win a big race, and it just feels like everything starts to fall into place.
Yeah.
Marcassi has been en fuego since winning the Preakness last week, and this first-time starter came from out of the clouds in this race to get it done, and he looked fetching.
Yeah, look at the one. She was waiting on the rail, then Manny decided, okay, I got to go 2, and then watch right here, he decides he's going to go about, I don't know, 4 or 5 wide, then he goes, I got to dive to the rail here now. And how does Pink, I'm not going to get it right, it's Plink Freud.
Plink Floyd.
It looks like he's home and cooled out, but the one was just loaded in this race. Wow. You guys' 12 ran a bang-up race for a little while, too, I thought.
Yeah, I mean, listen, the race ended up collapsing in here. And I think this is going to be a good race for people to watch again. Go to NYRA.com, where you can watch the replays for free and watch again, because I think there are a lot of trips here, and as we said, there were a lot of unknowns coming into the race.
12-1 on the first-time starter, 111-29 Plink Freud. Actually, I think I even said it wrong. But 12-1 over 10-1 for that exacta as we shift gears. Head back to Churchill Downs, race 9. It's going to be a mile on the turf. Rail is out 15 feet. This is an entry-level allowance coming up, and another wide-open race. 7-2 on our favorite, Bridled Temper, Marcassi. Tyler Gaffleon, Team War of Will, as we check in with Gary Stevens.
Thanks, guys. Bridled Temper, she looked great out in the paddock and on the racetrack, and no reason not to like her. I'm liking the European filly, Made to Remember, for Graham Motion. She looked great in the paddock. She's been well-traveled. She's only had 8 races, but all different racetracks. And her European time form fits very well with these. She had 107 time form 2 back. That's good enough to win a grade 3 here in the United States. These are one other thans, and she looked the part. They travel a lot over there, and so this is nothing new for her, traveling to a racetrack. Been training at Fair Hill. So with her price right now hanging at 6, she was 5-1, drifted up to 7 or 8, and just hovering at 6. But not a lot of people know about her because she's been training up at Fair Hill. So I think you got a decent price. Made to Remember. The 1 and the 2 both look very good in the paddock as well. Wide open event, though.
Back to you guys.
Group placed the 5, Made to Remember. That was in England back in last summer, late June.
Graham Motion has exceptional numbers with his European shippers as well.
We're going to take a break. We'll have this race for you when we come back. The 9th from Churchill Downs on the way at a mile on the turf. Stay tuned for that. We'll be back with America's Day at the Races.
Into the final furlong of the Claiborne Breeders' Futurity, and Classic Empire wins it in style.
Here's the winner, Classic Empire. He's a champion 2-year-old. Here's the champ, Classic Empire. Classic Empire.
It's America's original sport, and no one covers it better than americasbestracing.net. From the sport to the lifestyle, the best races, horses, and destination venues, cocktails, gambling, fashion, and more. americasbestracing.net is a sport for you. Live it, love it, bet it.
Whether you have Derby dreams or Midsummer Derby dreams, this is Tom Durkin to tell you a registered New York bred can take you there.
Diversify.
That New York bred Exact and the Whitney by multimillionaires Diversify and Mind Your Biscuits shows the kind of quality that allowed New York breds to earn more than $93 million on the world stage last year. On-track successes have spurred New York bred sales result. At the March OBS sale, Chestertown sold for $2 million. And this New York bred 2018 yearling brought $1 million at Saratoga. So get with the program at nybreds.com.
Runhappy was the fastest 3-year-old sprinter of his generation.
Runhappy is stamping his horses. And they all got great necks, great hind legs. They all got a good walk, and this colt moves very, very well. Very smart. He hasn't turned a hair since we've had him. First day we turned him out, he was very, very gentle in his paddock and did everything right. He's got an exceptional pedigree.
Runhappy, standing at Claiborne Farm.
You're watching America's Day at the Races on Fox Sports 2 and MSG Plus. It's presented by Claiborne Farm. 100 years of doing the usual unusually well. Is fetching a first-time starter in the 7th at Belmont Park, winning for Mark Cassie, Manny Franco in the irons.
Yeah, Fleet Alex filly out of the Lemon Drop Kid. Mare, we talked about the Mare Limoncello was very good. This one for Tina Cassie. $35,000 they only paid for this filly on New York bred. I think it was well worth it. Yeah.
Look at this. NYRA Bets late pick 5, $115,000 plus in that pool. It's automatically going to reward you now with this.
I smell a big payoff today.
I caught your little fetching reference too. That was very nice.
Thank you.
Play,
I
Andy.
appreciate that.
Back at Churchill Downs, could Mark Cassie do it again? Teaming up with Tyler Gaffleone and Mark and Nancy Stanley, who own Bridal Temper, the one who's the favorite at 5-2.
You know, she can win this race. I don't think she's worth a short price near. I like Paul Source the 5, and I like the 2 Rockin' Ready.
Yeah.
I actually boxed 2-5 in the exactas, and I, protected with a little bit with a 10 on the bottom.
Yeah, Orange Juice outside
a little interesting.
was just finished right behind Malachi, who we saw win here yesterday.
Yeah, and the thing I like about the 10 is there's not a lot of pace in this race at all. And so tactically, she can get in a good position.
You'd like to see the rider be a little aggressive so he doesn't get caught out wide, but I agree. There is not a ton of pace here. We'll see. I think Bridal Temper's okay, but the thing about Bridal Temper is she's got a lot of seconds. 5 seconds in 9 starts, and 1 win with some short prices.
She comes from so far out of it, she causes her own trouble sometimes,
That, especially in turf racing, that can be a problem, and that's why you see a lot of those seconds from the filly. Warfront filly, by the way, out of post 1 for Mark Cassie. As they continue to load up. 7 horse. This is Fiber Optic, being a little rambunctious there at the starting gate for trainer Ian Wilkes. One first time out sprinting at Gulfstream. He stretched her out, and she struggled in start number 2. But we'll see if she runs a little bit better with that experience under her belt, not looking like she's liking what she's doing right now.
Yeah, I tell you, this Made to Remember is a very interesting horse to price. Graham Motion, he is 16 for 57 European on the turf, European shippers on the turf for foreign shippers, first-time Lasix with almost a $3 ROI. He is very, very strong in this move.
So Fiber Optic holding things up here a little bit. And luckily, sometimes it could be a bit of a domino effect, but everyone else seems to be behaving. And finally, they do get her in. So she's settled. Let's send it out to Travis Stone, the call. Race 9 here from Churchill. Bridle tempered from the inside post for Mark Cassidy. All those seconds, and she get the second win of her career. Here's Travis Stone.
They're in the gate. And they're off. Even start, little slow out of there for Made to Remember. Fiber Optic breaks well. She's on the warpath, is there. Smile a While on the far outside, comes on 3 wide from third. Rockin' Ready settles in toward the rail to be fourth. Orjus comes away fifth, angling in over toward the inside. Fifth at about 4 lengths off the lead early. Elstown is off the pace, racing in sixth. Bridal Temper covered up inside seventh. Cash Out is eighth. Vanilla Cat is back in ninth, and Made to Remember the last of them all for the backstretch run. The opening quarter, 24 flat, and the leader is Fiber Optic. Fiber Optic down the backstretch run, uncontested and unopposed for the early stages, leads by 2. Smile a While on the outside, tugs up to be second. She's on the warpath, trying to keep pace with them. Third and down inside. And then Orajus finds a seam and comes on to be fourth, racing for the far turn. Elstown wide, while fifth. Rockin' Ready, 6th. Bridal Temper, 7th. Cash Out, 8th. Vanilla Cat, 9th. And Made to Remember at the back of the packs around the far turn. Fiber Optic's lead is half a length. Smile a While. Here comes Elstown winding up with a 3 wide bid on the far outside. Cash Out's launching a rally, but forced to go very wide as well. Orajus has got a shot, forced to come off the inside. They're off the turn into the stretch. She's on the warpath, trying to try and come through toward the rail. Rockin' Ready's bottled up in behind. Bridal Temper, Made to Remember, wide open, 1 furlong to go. She's on the warpath, squeezes through down toward the inside, grabs the lead. Made to Remember, clear sailing on the outside, these two. She's on the warpath, short lead. Made to Remember on the outside, final try. She's on the warpath, rides the rail to victory. Made to Remember was second. Farther back, it's tight for third among Cash Out, Vanilla Cat, Bridal Temper, and Orajus.
She's on the warpath. Chantal Sutherland, Steve Margolis, and a fast closing Made to Remember for Grand Motion comes up just short.
Good ride by Chantal. You can see her. She's right stuck to the rail. And when it opens up, she squeezes right here, and it gets tight. Got to give her a little credit. Then now she's able to pull out the stick now because the 5, the first-time horse from over in Europe, starts charging here late here, Andy. This is a tough horse to get to.
It looked like Made to Remember was going to win this race for sure. I agree. She's a warpath. Chantal Sutherland, that was a terrific ride coming up the fence. But I agree, Paul. They rarely stretch out off a wind sprint to the turf to win their next starts as well. Surprising winner and 11-1 to boot.
Yeah.
Donner, a Declaration at War at double-digit odds at 11-1 in the 9th from Churchill. Other prices when we come back. This filly delivered a breakthrough win for both jockey and trainer. First ever Derby win, winning colors. Gary Stevens remembers back to 1988 when we come back.
You're always striving for quality, so that's what WinStar is about. You're supported by the stallion owner and the shareholders at WinStar to extend that success into the future. We all know what our expenses are going to be within reason during the year. We don't know what our income is going to be. I know the program's there, and it's definitely on my thought process. It's a very tangible benefit that definitely helps with our bottom line.
Eclipse champion Blame was considered by many as the breakout stallion of 2018. His top runners included Grade 1 winner and Eclipse Award finalist Marley's Freedom, plus Grade 1 winner Fault and graded stakes winners Moreau, Beyond Blame, Miss Kentucky, and Blamed. His yearling sold up to $500,000, and his sensational daughter Fault brought $1.2 million at the November sale. Outstanding results, outstanding value. Blame, standing at Claiborne Farm.
This is a colt by Runhappy out of Addison Run. We bred here at Moffra Hall. Well, he's a big, strong, good bone, big old hip on him. Moves really well, has that kind of big cat-like walk when he just relaxes and gets rolling up and down the lane.
Runhappy, standing at Claiborne Farms.
Back on America's Day at the Races, and a look at the KFC Yum Center in Louisville, home of the Louisville Cardinals. That place gets rocking.
Yeah, good place to watch a concert too. Got to see Toby Keith there, so it's used for a lot of different occasions, and yeah, but mostly for the Louisville basketball team.
Well, we got plenty more action, including our feature race from Churchill Downs coming up. That is the Grade 3 winning colors, and this group appears to pretty wide open.
Well, all the races at Churchill seem like they've been wide open, yeah, but this one is wide open as well. So, and named after a pretty good horse that was ridden by one of our colleagues.
Yeah, Winning Colors was an amazing horse. I can remember watching her lose a 5-length lead in the stretch to Personal Ensign, the Masquette, when she had her comeback race. But she ran great in all 3 Triple Crown races.
Third filly in the last one to win the Kentucky Derby, and actually she was kind of tough to handle. So Dallas Stewart galloped her the final 10 days before the Kentucky Derby, and he really got her to settle down a little bit. How about that? So Dallas Stewart was kind of key in helping her get that Derby win, but so was this man right here. What a crafty ride from the Hall of Famer. Gary Stevens jumped right out to the front and never looked back. Fast closing 49er made it close, but wow, what a performance from the filly. As you look at her career record here.
And Lucas called it. I mean, he said, listen, we're going to the front end, and we are going to play catch me if you can, and that's exactly what Gary did. But she was. You're right. People forget she won the Santa Anita Derby and the Santa Anita Oaks.
But they also 49ers sent after her in the Preakness, and I'm sure Gary remembers it well. And she did remarkably well to hang on and be third behind Risen Star.
Yeah.
Well, it was the first ever Kentucky Derby victory, first of 3 for Gary Stevens. What a moment, Gary.
Yeah, unbelievable moment, Greg. I'm stood right now just below the Twin Spires, and I can remember going under the Twin Spires into the first turn under the wire the first time in that Derby, and I was right where I wanted to be, and I couldn't believe how easy she was going, and I was just on cruise control. Wayne and I had talked about it, and he told me, he said, just sit chilly, slow them down as much as you can until you hit the 3/8 pole. He said, push the pedal to the metal and get all you can get, and hope you've got enough to last. And I'll tell you what, that last 6 seconds were about the longest 6 seconds of my life. I didn't think the wire was ever going to come, and just some great thoughts going through my head, and thoughts I'll never forget. And I wish I could really put it in the words to what it feels like to win a Kentucky Derby.
Well, go on to experience that feeling a couple more times, but I'm sure the first has to be like nothing else. But what a performance. Able to hang on. Gary rationed that speed out perfectly.
Oh, absolutely. He gave a perfect ride, and a couple others may have given less than perfect rides in there. And 49er with Pat Day, and Eddie Delahousse, who rode Risen Star, got in a world of trouble. And I've talked to Gary about it, and that was the worst Risen Star. He could have won the Triple Crown.
Yeah, I mean, it's good stuff. I mean, to be on a Derby winner like that, and Gary's even saying a Hall of Famer that's ridden so many different horses, so many different wins, can't put it into words. That's how amazing it is,
and
you know?
that was a killer field. I mean, that was a tremendous Derby
49er, Risen Star, both champions, seeking the gold. Private Terms.
Right, Private Terms was undefeated going in the race.
Unreal.
Here's a look at the field for the winning colors. Today's feature at Churchill Downs, Grade 3, 6 furlongs for fillies and mares 3 and up. But it is Awestruck right now, who is the one to beat on the board. The morning line favorite for Rusty Arnold. She comes in off a win on a sloppy racetrack.
Yeah, and Rusty's usually good with these type of horses, but her race before that at Keeneland, Tuck Vuv to me, was pretty good too. So she's got a shot. She likes Churchill though. That's the one thing.
I'm betting Classy Act. She's going to outrun all the speeds and wire the field guys off the trainer change to Joe Sharp.
All right, we'll talk more about that in a bit. We're back here at Belmont Park, 6.5 furlongs in this New York bred maiden special weight. It's time for a paddock report, so we're going to head downstairs to Maggie Wolfendale.
And guys, horses on the walking ring here for this interesting maiden special weight for these New York bred fillies. And we'll begin with one who is coming off of a layoff. And Pat Kelly has an unenviable job of taking these horses from the late Rick Violet, who was known for many things, and one of the things most of all is his abilities with 2-year-olds and young horses. And toss-up, though she never got the job done, ran very well in her last start in a maiden special weight behind a nice filly, an Elegant Zip, who was trained by Dave Donk. Now, in both of those efforts, she looked a lot more fit than what she does now. Furthermore, the front bandages do go on, and she's fairly quiet here in the paddock. I like her. I can see her winning, but there's a little more interesting horses in here as of now, and we'll get to the one on the outside, the 5-year-old firster who's taking money, but I'm actually a little more intrigued by the 3-year-old first-time starter in number 1, Aggravation. That last workout here on May 18th, 1 minute and 2/5, she did with a horse by the name of JJ's Dreaming. Now, he's no superstar, but he's definitely a useful and pretty established older New York bred for Mark Hennig, and she sat about half a length off of him and looked full of horse. I mean, she was going much better than him, and she is athletic. She was a little green when they had her in the back, but once they brought her back front side here in the paddock with the rest of the horses, she kind of settled down because she realized there were some friends here with her. But I like her, and I know the other one's taking some money, but Aggravation could run well. But let's get to Ratajkowski, named after the model/actress Emily Ratajkowski, famous for that blurred line video. Look, she's named well. She looks like a tall model of the equine form, very leggy, very nicely composed here in the paddock, nicely on the bridle, very fit here for trainer Brian Lynch, but she is a 5-year-old first-time starter, guys. I mean, I guess perseverance and patience are coming through here, and that's why she's taking so much money. What do you think?
Well, sometimes things are worth the wait, and apparently worked in company in a bullet drill with a horse who won first time out pretty impressively for Brian Lynch, and taking money like she can run.
Yeah, obviously there's a giant tip on Ratajkowski in this race. I mean, for her to be favored in doubles and to be 2-1 on the board, because there's some horse in here that can run a little bit. I'm going to tell you, maybe the horse will win. I'm letting tips on 5-year-old firsters beat me. I'm sorry.
I'm sort of with Andy. I get the horse is 5, the horse has been working, but let's be honest, what is she truly worth being a mare by Drosselmeyer?
From a dam that's produced 2 horses that could run a little and 5 that couldn't.
Well, here's the horse to beat, though, right?
I think.
I mean, for Patty Kelly, good back-to-back good races. They debuted this horse in a stakes race. She got left, actually, and ran great, and
well, the horse that beat her, Elegant Zip, is one of the horses that can win our Bowery in a very tough stake here on Monday. She's one of the best 3-year-old New York bred fillies running, so there's nothing wrong with her. She's very good.
Here comes our post parade. Here's Aggravation, first-time starter for Mark Hennig, daughter of Algorithms, out of a Warpath mare, John Velasquez.
Clever name for Alan Brodsky with his first-time starter, first foal from the dam.
Look both ways we will see next for trainer Bruce Levine, one of the more experienced runners in this field, coming off a very distant second last time out. Kendrick Carmouche back aboard today.
You know, this filly's run 2 good races. In the other race, she got eliminated at the break. So maybe at a big price, you can use her underneath here.
First time out, actually ran decent. We'll see if she continued to move forward. Here's the 3 toss-up. Patrick Kelly coming out of that stake in her debut. She's been off for a while.
She was trained by the late Rick Violet before, and Ralph Evans, who owns her, of course, who owns Diversify, moved his horses to Pat Kelly. We'll see how this one does, but she was very good as a 2-year-old.
Bank Examiner, she faced a good one and newly minted last time out.
Nothing wrong with her last race, her first race in the dirt. She got a very good trip, but she ran fine.
Bourbon High, the 6, 0 for 12.
Yeah, the tough one to get to, and that's why she is the longest shot on the board here. She does have 2 second-place finishes, but not for me.
Dahl was right behind Bank Examiner last time out. It's Jason Service, second-time starter.
Hey, she lost to horse Newly Minted, who's a very, very nice filly, and she may be the favorite in that Bowery on Monday. Dahl dueled with her, taking a lot of money. She ran fine. She's a big player.
And our favorite has never run before, 5-year-old mare making her debut. We'll see if she's been worth the wait.
Yeah, obviously the word is out. And Jose Ortiz getting aboard does not hurt as well. But 5-year-old mare, 2-1. Take your chances.
Giving up experience to everybody in this field with the exception of the one. Taking out a lot of play right now. Get signed up, started, play along, bet $200. You'll get $200 new member bonus in your account when you use the promo code LIVE at sign up. Bet any track, anywhere, anytime. Go to NYRAbets NYRA.com. We have a Twitter poll from America's Best Racing. Maximum Securities owner Gary West. He's thrown down the gauntlet on a $20 million challenge. He's offering $5 million apiece to any of the 4 horses involved in that Kentucky Derby DQ, apart from his Preakness winner, War of Will, who has the best shot at beating Maximum Security. Country House, Long Range Toddy, Bodie Express, all 3 could beat him. Make your voice heard. Go to @ABR Live.
I don't need to burn any more brain cells thinking about that.
I mean,
show up and run.
I just don't care. Like, if you watch enough races, do you think those are the only 4 horses that were
Which
affected?
one of them told Gary West we ran a better horse than you did that day?
I just don't get it.
Because I don't recall anybody saying Max Security didn't run the best race.
Hashtag ABR at the races. I'm still not convinced he would have won.
Yeah, exactly. Like, I understand. I still think he wins, but you don't know now, obviously.
There's no way to know.
There's no way to know, but like, okay, let's throw the gauntlet down the Long Range Toddy. There was no way Long Range Toddy would ever beat him if they raced 10 times out of 10. Like,
it's time to move on.
Exactly. Yeah. You know when the play ends.
Drop the lawsuit.
They're running other races, and Maximum Security could have shown up in the Preakness, and he didn't. And he could show up in the Belmont, and he's running a week later at Monmouth for $150,000, a race nobody really is particularly interested in. Running the big races, or put up or shut up. Honestly, enough.
Show up in the Belmont.
Mark Cassidy, War of Will, and Gary Barber, they're showing up.
Exactly.
I mean, enough.
All right, this 8th, we're taking a look here at the 5, Bank Examiner, and that's the final word. Jeremiah Engelhardt sending
It's the truth, though. It's the truth. It really is.
It really is. Yeah. Bank Examiner here, you talked about newly minted, Andy, and, Dahl was in that race as well, but Bank Examiner finished ahead of Dahl, and that was the first time on a dirt track.
It ran fine. I'm not saying the horse can't win, but she was picking up the pieces, whereas
Dahl
was dueling with Newly Minted, and Newly Minted came back and ran a huge race dueling at Aqueduct. She's a real deal, and we're going to see her on Monday. I think Dahl's a huge player in this race. Why can't she win?
The thing that makes Bank Examiner juicy is that 30% 2-off over for the trainer. Now, the 8, she looks well on the racetrack. She's 2-1. She's getting bet like a good thing, and we know here
she must be able to run.
Obviously, she can. And listen, they don't fool around with the money here. Andy says it all the time. They know this filly, this mare can run, but it's just you got to take your chance against her at 5. If she wins, she might win by a pole. She might, but there's some other fillies in here that can run.
I agree. I'm not betting. The landscape of racing is strewn with bad money lost on tips. And I respect Brian Lynch. He won with a firster, but 5-year-old firsters, okay.
For more, let's head downstairs to Maggie.
Well, I got a little bit of a scoop on number 8, Radishkowski, and talking to Brian Lynch's assistant in here, Louis Rushlow. He said that, she's done nothing wrong since coming from Kentucky / out in California, in which she was with Gary Broad's trainer out there, and Peter Urton. So she trains very forwardly. Obviously, that's why she's taking so much money. He said he does not know why she hasn't made it to the races until now as a 5-year-old, but he hinted to the fact that obviously he likes her too. So does the public. But Bank Examiner, I mean, at 5-1, as Andy said, she did get a good trip and a favorable one, but I hold Newly Minted up there as far as 3-year-old fillies are concerned. And she just got beat by her and was coming back off of a layoff. She's done so well now as a 3-year-old. Look, I like her, and I'm going to take a shot here with the 1 aggravation because I just think you're getting better prices with both of those.
All right, Maggie, thanks. And I know it's because this first-timer's taking all that money. That's part of it. But to me, one of the biggest surprises on the board is getting 4-1 on Dahl, the 7.
I agree. Is she chilly? Is all the money going on the 8? I don't know. Listen, maybe the 8 is the second coming of Hindu. I respect the money, but I think you're supposed to go with horse with experience and what you know. You use her defensively if you play multis, but, geez, toss up at 3-1. Dahl at 4-1. They just seem like very inviting prices.
5, even at 5-1. I understand the 5 got the benefit of picking up the pieces, but she can improve too. I don't get it.
So let's bet against the 8 in box 3, 5, 7 and hope for the best.
I'm with you.
That's my play.
Well, with a firster taking all that money, you're definitely not supposed to go with the other firster, right?
Well, the other firster's not taking money. I don't know if that sounds right, but 6-1. I mean, I know there's a scratch, but right on the morning line, a filly by algorithm, so they're not ignoring her at all.
She's right at her morning line.
Yeah.
Talking about the 1 aggravation as we look at Bank Examiner.
And Algorithms is 18% first time out. His horses are very precocious.
Claiborne sire.
Yes.
About to load up for race 8. Is the hype worth it on the first-time starter? Ratajkowski, 5-year-old mare. We have not seen her in the afternoon until today. Will it be worth the wait? We're about to find out. Trained by Brian Lynch. Jose Ortiz will be in the irons.
Okay.
She is 8-5.
Here's
on the
my
board.
prediction. She may win. I bet she gets left.
Ooh.
From an outside post? There she is. She has been picture perfect leading up to the gate to this point.
God, they're sending it in even more.
Can't get enough.
Almost,
It's such an easy game, you know. I'm going to bet a few $1,000 just wait by the window, Paul. What an easy game
by
it
the
is.
end of this, so she's had over 60,000
Tell
winner.
you
By
what,
the end of
this
this,
race-
about 75,000.
This was going to be even money if the race goes off in 2 more minutes. It adds a lot of fun to it, you know. It really does, and I think it's one of the fun things. You see these horses. It's hard to predict a 5-year-old firster is going to get bet like this. There's some nice horses in the race, and we'll see. I mean, add some intrigue for the race.
The 2's having a little trouble getting in the gate. She's favored in the doubles, the 8, but she's the 3rd favorite in the pick 3. So the betting and the way this field is being
the double favorite, though,
is a little weird.
Yeah,
but,
well.
but she is the clear double favorite.
Yes.
They got the 2 in finally. Looks like Wolfie.
Made a wheel.
Now look both ways, was acting up a little bit, but she is in. And Kendrick Carmouche is actually hopping back aboard her right now as she, the daughter across traffic, has moved into the gate. Let's send it upstairs. Can Ratajkowski impress? First time out. Let's go to the voice of the Triple Crown for the call. Here's Larry Collmus.
Dahl moving into the starting gate next, and the last one to go in is Ratajkowski. At odds of 3-2 under Jose Ortiz. Ratajkowski not quite ready to go into the starting gate yet. Looks like they've got her in there now. They're all in line. They're off. Dahl had the best beginning and goes shooting out to an early lead of 2 lengths. And then it's Bourbon High away in second. Ratajkowski is on the outside of Bank Examiner. Toss-up is down toward the rail. Break of 2 back to Aggravation and Look Both Ways at the back of the pack as they race for the turn, where it is Dahl and Bourbon High, and these 2 are right together on the lead. Ratajkowski is outside of Bank Examiner. The 4 of them closely packed through a 22.5 quarter, and Ratajkowski's moving now. Moving 3 wide and up and after the lead on the far turn. Dahl goes right with her. These 2 kick on from Bourbon High. Then it's Bank Examiner, Look Both Ways on the outside. Toss up along the rail. Aggravation at the back of the pack. Dahl on the inside of Ratajkowski. These 2 have run a 45.85 half mile. Bank Examiner is 2 lengths off of them and swings out 3 wide, and they're into the stretch with Dahl to catch. Trying to shake off this challenge of Ratajkowski. Bank Examiner is 3rd on the outside. At the 8th pole, it's Dahl by 2. Bank Examiner has come up into 2nd and is closing in. Ratajkowski is 3rd. Dahl and Bank Examiner, these 2. Dahl inside, Bank Examiner outside. Bank Examiner got there. Running down Dahl to win. Ratajkowski was 3rd and Toss-Up was 4th.
Bank Examiner gets by Dahl again, who did the dirty work up front. Junior Alvarado, Jeremiah Engelhardt.
Good call by Andy. The 8 was going to get left, and it cost her a lot of punch late. But I'll tell you what, the 7 was game. I can't believe the 5 ran her down because it looked like the 7 was home and cooled out.
It's a good thing that Bourbon High at 62-1 was in the race to bury the 7
right?
Dahl. And Dahl must have looked up and said, really, Bank Examiner, you're going to get another perfect trip to beat me again?
Yeah.
Well, she did it today, and we should have made our box of 3-5-7.
Yeah, the assist here.
He did.
To the long shot.
And Junior could have stayed inside, and he just made the right choice because I think he saw the 8's just a big old mare. You can see how big she is. And then he just starts going with that left-handed just with pursuit. And so is also Manuel Franco. He's giving everything he has with Dahl. It's just a good little horse race. These are 2 nice little fillies.
That's a nice finish there from Bank Examiner, though, and Junior Alvarado to just get up in time. And I think Dahl's seen enough of Bank Examiner.
Yeah.
Well, yeah, I mean, Dahl ran a winning race, but Bank Examiner got the winning trip.
Yeah.
It's all about pace and how it sets up. Pace makes the race.
And listen, it's not like they're huge prices, but if you take a shot against the 8-5 shot, the logical horses, two of them. And by the way, the number 3 horse in this race, Toss Up, was completely dead on the board to be 4-1 in here.
No, I didn't run a step either.
She was bad fourth, distant fourth.
Not bad effort first time out from that 8-5. Over bet?
Yeah,
over bet, but he good effort.
But a lot of things go wrong with firsters a lot, and that's why they're tough bets.
And that's 3 winning colors from Churchill.
That's
Here's
right,
a look at Quick at 16-1 just went by. And here's Anna Thela for Rusty Arnold.
She's going to have her running shoes on. This is a tough field in here. She did run well at Keeneland, too bad.
Another big price upset brewing for Buff Bradley.
Speaking of horses that are in tough, this is a very tough spot for her. That's why she's a big price.
Classy Act, 9-2 on the board for trainer Joe Sharp, who takes over training duties.
3 for 12 lifetime. This filly by Into Mischief, 5-1. Her race is tough to go back to.
Helen Pitts sends out She's a Gypsy, makes her 4-year-old debut.
Another horse who's biting off quite a bit for her 4-year-old debut, first start since November.
Divine Queen, she's at 12-1 on the board. Calvin Burrell, another Buff Bradley runner.
We saw Calvin Burrell come up the rail a couple times. This little filly's got 4 wins, 2 for 2 at Churchill. So take a look at the 6 as a long shot.
She comes out of the grade 1 Madison. Here's Let It Ride, Mom, the 7, Mark Cassie, Tyler Gaffleone.
Can she transfer her synthetic form to dirt? She ran okay in the dirt, but she improved on synthetic.
A Stroll in the Park at 7-1 for Larry Jones.
Way too high of a price for a Larry Jones runner. This horse is liked Churchill Downs and brings speed to the party.
The morning line favorite. Here's Awestruck. Rusty Arnold comes in off a win at Churchill on a sloppy track.
This is a big step up to make her the morning line favorite because she hasn't really had success in stakes in the past, though she's kept some good company.
Salt Bay, she is quick for Bernie Flint.
Look for the 8 and the 10 to go. Yeah, you're right. Ricardo Santana will be aboard, and I would think he's going to send this filly by Painter.
Honey Bunny, Tyler Beige for trainer John Ortiz.
4 straight wins at 3 different tracks, but man, does she get a class test.
Yeah, Oaklawn, Keeneland, and there's one here at Churchill as well. And then long shot, Suzette with rider change here at 42-1.
Yeah, 42-1, and now 47-1. Tough horse to endorse. Although, winner last time at Will Rogers Downs.
Let's go to Gary Stevens, standing by with the trainer of the 11, Honey Bunny.
Thanks, guys. With John Ortiz here, the trainer of Honey Bunny, and she is nothing but a win machine.
Yeah, she's just an ATM here at the barn. Just keep turning the wins, keep bringing us some money. So we're excited to have her here.
What'd you tell Tyler? I saw you guys having a discussion over there. He just won on her, but it looks like she's fairly tactical. She can go to the front. She can sit just off of it.
Yeah, she's special, like in her own way. She has, she can do off this pace. She can be on the lead. I just told him to get a clean break. As long as she's part of the race early on, I think it's gonna. We're gonna wait for that speed to die down. There's plenty of speed on our inside, and hopefully we'll come out, tip out, and take the win.
All right, John. Thanks and good luck.
Thank you,
guys.
All right, Gary, thanks. Well, Honey Bunny, the 11, she's taking a lot of support. She was 12-1 morning line. She's now down to 4-1. The win streak obviously catches a lot of attention, but she did run good against Salt Bay and Divine Queen when she faced him as well.
Yeah, and the thing that she was behind Salt Bay and Divine Queen, but she didn't break that day. The thing that she gets in here, Andy, she gets the 8, the 9, and the 10. They're all pretty fast, 8, 9, and 10. So she can maybe fall into that nice spot, the 11.
No, I don't disagree. This is just, you're talking about a horse that's been 40 cents the dollar and 20 cents the dollar in her last 4 starts. So she's been beating up on fields that are significantly weaker. This is a very tough spot.
Yeah, it is.
Well, the favorite right now, Mark Cassie's Let It Ride Mom with Tyler Gaffleone and those Live Oak Plantation Silks from Post 7. The last time she was on dirt, it was at Churchill. It was a while ago. It was back in 2017. She ran very good that afternoon, although she was a beaten favorite that day.
Look for her late. She's going to be furiously late. She has a big late kick. I like those horses that run them upside down.
Grade 3 winning colors are featured on this Saturday afternoon from Churchill Downs. Travis Stone with the call here on America's Day at the Races.
They're in the gate. And they're off. Quick, awkward out of the starting gate. Good beginning for Upset Brewing and Classy Act, and they race out after the lead. Salt Bay comes away third in the outside. Inathila fourth and at the rails. Suzette on the far outside racing up into fifth. A Stroll in the Park is sixth. Let It Ride Mom is seventh. Divine Queen is eighth. Awestruck is ninth. Honey Bunny 10th and on the far outside. Quick, trying to advance 11th and inside. She's a Gypsy as 12th and last, but it's a tight pack chasing Upset Brewing and Classy Act onto the far turn. They whip through that opening quarter in 21 and 2. So round the far turn, Upset Brewing, half-length lead. Classy Act keeping pace right there in the outside in second. A Stroll in the Park is winding up and comes on to be third. Inathila's back racing. Fourth, Honey Bunny's winding up from fifth. Awestruck in a bit of traffic there has to switch outside sixth. They're off the turn. Upset Brewing is still in front by 2. A Stroll in the Park on the outside trying to close in. Classy Act is back into third. Honey Bunny, Let It Ride Mom and Inathila toward the inside. 1 furlong to go. Upset Brewing, 2-length lead, still clear by 2. A Stroll in the Park. Here comes Honey Bunny on the outside. Honey Bunny finishing best of all, and she's up to win the winning colors. Honey Bunny first, it's tight for second. A Stroll in the Park or Upset Brewing. Divine Queen was fourth.
Gary Stevens picked the right barn to talk to before the race. John Ortiz, Honey Bunny with a win in the Grade 3 winning colors.
Tougher competition, did not matter. This filly does not know how to lose.
No, Tyler Bays did a good. And listen, he took the overland route and he tried to save ground as much as he could, and wow, she's just his best here. And you know what? The 8 was never going by the 3 till the 11 went by here, Andy. And I think the 8 might have popped the 3 for second.
And it's also not as though this race just completely incinerated. Because the 3 was a long shot setting the pace in the front end. And frankly, the winner was the only horse that made up any ground at all. I mean, the 3 and 8 were right there. They were 1-2. They were 1-3 the whole way. And this was an impressive win.
Just shows
Real
you
step forward.
When you're in form, you're in form now. 5 in a row, and they better too. 12 to 1 to 3 to 1. Yeah,
went off very short.
What price
11,
was she?
8,
3 to 1.
3. In the end, yeah, she was 12 to 1 morning line.
3 to 1.
Yeah.
Tyler Bays, John Ortiz, Hootie's Racing, and WSS Racing with the victory here in the Saturday feature from Churchill Downs.
And it just shows you, like we talk about, like she's probably 1 break away from winning what now 5, 6, 7 in a row. She's just in phenomenal form, and some horses just love the wire. Just don't look at the numbers. Just
never discounted in form.
13 now, 14 for 31 lifetime. That's amazing.
5-year-old mare with the victory here in this Grade 3 winning colors. Proved she could win at Churchill last time out, although it was against considerably easier company. Winning trainer John Ortiz. It is picture time for that group, and going to celebrate this one. Well done, beating a very good field.
Yeah, he did. And, you know, Tyler did a good job of sort of laying back in a race that got pace from the inside, the 3 and the 4, and some of the outside horses just couldn't keep up. But it was a fast pace, and everybody was dropping back, and he was able to hold his position. And did he have to take the overland route? Yeah, he did, but it was the best route because a lot of the inside horses had to back up. But horse has got a nose for the winner's circle. John Ortiz has got to be just ecstatic.
He got to talk to Gary Stevens and win a stake race within like 5 minutes of each other. I mean, that's got to be the greatest moment ever.
Let's be honest. The highlight was talking to Gary.
Well, yeah, Gary was actually telling Gary was instructing Tyler earlier in the show how to ride this horse.
Yeah. I think he texts his friends and said, I just met Gary Stevens.
Quick break. We'll be back with prices from the winning colors right after this.
Practical Joke was all business. He won the hope.
Practical Joke always showed a lot of ability. He showed a lot of heart, a lot of determination. Right from the first breeze, he identified himself as one of the best in his crop.
Practical Joke down to the wire, the Champagne.
Practical Joke took both the Hopeful and the Champagne Stakes, and he's a fast, tough, precocious 2-year-old, trained on, showed even better form at 3.
It is Practical Joke in the Allen Jerkins.
He's going to be a horse that no commercial breeder can leave off their list.
Tom Durkin letting you know New York breds start with an advantage. At the sales, buyers pay up to 7 figures. And there's over $2 million in stakes money limited to New York sired horses in the New York Stallion Stakes Series, like the Park Avenue for 3-year-old fillies.
Newly minted wins it for fun.
For fun and money. The winner's share generates an additional $55,000 from the New York Breeding Fund.
Funny Guy's gonna do it.
Funny Guys winning the Times Square division generates the same money. So get with the program at nybreds.com.
This proven son of Giants Causeway has sired 4 millionaires, including Claiborne Farm stallion Lee. Recent top runners include Cutting Humor, winner of the Grade 3 Sunland Park Derby, plus 3-time graded stakes winner Sharp Samurai, and international star Shamal Nibras. This year, his 2-year-olds have brought prices up to $310,000. First Samurai, standing at Claiborne Farm.
Runhappy is simply super. He polishes off an outstanding campaign with a dominant victory in the Malibu.
No medication, no problem. Runhappy, standing at Claiborne Farm.
Paradise Creek is under a hand ride here by Pincay, and he has shrugged off the challenge of Solar Splendor, and he comes cruising into the final furlong. An impressive victory once again. Paradise Creek will win 6 in a row. He's a top-notch racehorse. He's won by 5, and he did it easily today. We're giving away track records today. They broke another one, a sensational 1.25 miles of 1:57.3.
And that is a course record that still stands. It's 1994 Turf Male Champion, Paradise Creek. 6 3/4 length win. Brilliant in the Manhattan under Pincay.
He was just a tremendous racehorse. I loved Paradise Creek. I think a lot of people won't remember. He was second at 30-1 to Lure in Lure's first Breeders' Cup Mile win from an outside post, like the 14 post at Gulfstream.
And I don't care if you're running on straight concrete. You run a 1:57 1/4 miles, you are absolutely flying.
He broke his maiden, I believe, first time out at Belmont in a 7-furlong maiden race in the turf by 11 lengths.
He's some kind of animal.
He was freakishly good.
Well, today's Paradise Creek, we have the return of an undefeated 2-year-old. Went 2 for 2, including a win in the Group 1 summer at Woodbine in a field that was fairly loaded. Included your eventual Preakness winner, War of Will, back when he was a turf horse early on in his career. It's been off for 250-plus days for trainer Chad Brown. Today, the comeback.
Does he look like a 3 to 5 shot to you, though, on paper? It's the cursed success for Chad Brown, where his horses just get overbet. He's a very talented horse with a lot of upside, but this is a very tough field, and 3 to 5 seems awfully short, Paul.
Yeah, it is probably just because of Chad. And the thing about it is, Mucho the 7, who is 5-1, we thought was the next coming, really did. And maybe turf was in his future. We know that Bill Mott can obviously move him from turf to dirt. Now he's going to move this one to turf. You know, you got to remember.
Cigar reference.
Yeah, this horse was 3/4 of a length from being a Grade 1 winner on dirt. Now going to try the turf. So the 7 has quality here.
And he also has speed, and there's not a ton of speed in here, and that's not going to help Fog of War.
Yeah. He also trained Paradise Creek, so it all kind of ties in. That would be nice for him to win, right? Back to Churchill Downs. Prices coming up from the feature race. Honey Bunny, Tyler Bays, John Ortiz, Hootie's Racing, and this 5-year-old mare, daughter of Tapazar, has just turned into an absolute win machine.
It's pretty crazy. You look back at her races. They ran her in some stakes races at Prairie Meadows, but now she's just gotten better and better and better as they dropped her down, and she's now winning the winning colors. Tapazar, the Stormcat mare, and Tyler Bays and John Ortiz team up. She's now 14 for 31 lifetime.
Yeah, this was some horses just know how to win. Wow.
It's Gary Stevens get to be in the winner's circle there. He did provide the winning interview.
It's true.
You know, he's a big star in this game, unlike the rest of us.
I know, right?
Yes, he is. Saw him start off our show, giving some riding instructions there to Tyler Bays, handing out the trophy there for the feature. And Tyler Bays, I mean, he's riding outstanding at Churchill.
He is. He is.
Let's go to Gary right now.
All right, guys, thank you. Here with Tyler Bays and John Ortiz. Congratulations, guys. A lot of stories here. I won John's first stake race for him last year at the fairgrounds. This is Tyler's first stakes race, period, and it's the winning colors here at Churchill Downs.
You know, it's kind of fortunate, you know, that I got on this filly, and she's a great filly. Actually, the day you won the Derby on winning colors, I told my dad that's what I'm going to do. Seriously. Well, it's pretty cool. And it's cool to get a stake win here at Churchill Downs. It's really exciting and very fun.
John, what about this filly? Honey Bunny's on a phenomenal roll right now.
Yeah, no, she, like I said, first of all, I want to thank God for the great opportunity that we had to get such a nice connections and have people buy and claim horses for me like this. It's fortunate to get a grade 3 win here. This filly's just been fantastic from day one. You know, you got the starter condition. We used the condition book just like we were supposed to, and we just built it up right, got the confidence to just come and steal a grade 3.
Well, guys, congratulations, both of you. Go enjoy. Have a great night. Back to you guys.
Well, that is something you will never forget. Your first stakes win. John Ortiz, well done with Honey Bunny, and he has that mare in just absolute top form right now.
Yeah, it's got to be a cool little feeling to have a mare like that that's now won how many in a row, and then she wins the winning colors, and then where do you go from there? You start running out of conditions. It's going to get steeper and steeper, but she keeps on passing the tests.
Well, you know, they could consider coming to visit us in Saratoga.
Why not?
Honorable miss up there, heading to the ballerina. We got the best races for the older fillies and mares sprinting. Why not take a shot?
Paradise Creek, our feature race here at Belmont, is coming up next. Fog of War. Long time on the bench for trainer Chad Brown. Undefeated, perfect 2 for 2. Making his return, the son of Warfront, very short price at 3 to 5. Let's go downstairs for a paddock report and check in with Maggie Wolfendale.
Checking in with your current favorite, Greg. That's number 2, Fog of War, as he returns off the layoff. 3-year-old debut for this runner. And last year, relative to his competition, he was very much a tank. Now, he hasn't done much growing. He hasn't filled out that much, but I like the fact that Chad brings him back going the 7/8. It just makes sense. He might be a better horse where he kind of tops out at a mile and lesser distance is probably best for him. He looks fit enough. If I didn't know him, I'd say maybe he looked a bit soft, but he's a son of Warfront. They just really tend to carry great flesh and great weight. So he looks ready to go, though I find that there's some interesting players here, especially to his inside with number 1, Strike Silver. I've been a fan of this Mark Cassie trainee since he showed up at Saratoga for the Sanford and just lost by a neck that day. He has done well. He's grown, he's filled out, he looks a lot stronger, and I don't blame Mark for keeping him on the turf. I think a little bit more ground should help him as well, and Mark's saying just never really getting involved and getting a hold of the race or the track back there at Keeneland. We'll see how he does here at Belmont. Then number 7 is Mucho, talking about getting back on track. That is what Mucho is doing. I'm a little scared with Mucho. I'm a little concerned that this horse was just a very good 2-year-old and the rest of his competition has caught up with him. But we're trying with something new here altogether, and trying the turf makes sense. He's a foal to a filly who loved it in width and a 1/2 length who was good on the turf as well. So, I mean, I like what I'm seeing from him. He's not overly whelmingly turf meant, but he looks better than what he did back at Aqueduct. Next, we'll check in with number 5, Pulsate. There's definitely some turf pedigree with this horse, and I like what I'm seeing from him getting back to it. He's a horse that's steadily improved here on the dirt, and there's some pedigree as well, Greg.
Yeah, 13 to 1 right now on Pulsate. The Dam was actually second in the Sands Point to Winter Memories.
Yeah, I mean, there's plenty of turf pedigree, and this horse's debut was in the turf in a 6-furlong race. Even you look at the next dirt race that he ran, he didn't run any better or any worse, right? But now he's substantially improved in the dirt. Why can't he transfer that improvement to the turf? I just think he's an unknown that has a chance.
There is Mucho making the move to turf. Let's go downstairs back to Maggie.
Here with Bill Mott, Hall of Famer, will send out Mucho here. Bill, talk about switching this horse to the turf.
Well, we were disappointed in his last race, and he seemed like he was struggling with the racetrack a little bit, and he's got a pedigree that would, go to the dirt or the turf, and we thought, let's go ahead and give him a good workout on the grass. And we've worked him a couple times on the turf, and he seemed like he handled it. And, he's a beautiful moving horse, but for some reason didn't run with the same conviction that he did when he was a 2-year-old. So, he won his first time out, very workmanlike, came back in the stake and was a little disappointing. So we're just looking at all the options and thought this would be a good place to start.
You won this race back in 2015 with a lot. Obviously, this race named for a nice horse that you trained in Paradise Creek. It's cool to win races that are named after old favorites of yours.
Right. We were just talking about him earlier, and he, you know, Paradise Creek had broken his maiden here, and first out that we ever ran him, he won off by 6 or 8 lengths and ran very easily, won very easily, and wound up setting a world record here, actually going 1.25 miles, I think 1:57 and change. A couple of years later, so good memories with that one.
Well, hopefully you make some more here today with Mucho. Best of luck, Bill.
Thank you. Thank you.
All right, guys.
Career that has accomplished just about everything you could imagine. Here is his Mucho. Now includes a Kentucky Derby win as well with Country House. Here is Mucho, so the turf debut for the son of Blame.
I think he's, you know, a very interesting horse. Obviously, he has been disappointing in his dirt races, but he's got a pedigree to handle. He's a 1/2 to 2 very good, nice, not very good, very nice turf horses, but we know he's got talent.
And here's Uncapped to round out the field. This horse was closing with a fury in a stakes race at Churchill at 5 furlongs on the grass.
I don't think this horse was out of look either. How about 2 back? 94-1 at Keeneland when Bulletin and beat him, but he ran a pretty darn good race. He only was beat by 4 lengths. Brendan Walsh is a very good trainer.
And he has said, Brendan Walsh, he is not worried about the extra distance here coming out of that 5 furlong event. He appears to be confident. Everybody has got to beat Fog of War, though. Undefeated in 2 starts. He's been impressive so far. This will be his 3-year-old debut. The Paradise Creek, our Saturday feature from Belmont, when we come back on America's Day at the Races.
Grade 1 winner Lee traveled the world competing against the best of his generation. A graded stakes winner on both dirt and turf, he set a new track record in the Grade 1 Don Handicap and retired with earnings of more than $2.3 million. With yearlings bringing up to $650,000 and his first crop 2-year-old selling up to $430,000, the sky is the limit for this promising young stallion. Lee, standing at Claiborne Farm.
Coming on strong. Coming on strong.
Here's Minute to Stardom, making her papa proud. The Star Guitar Filly.
Coming on strong.
Testing 1, 2. The Star Guitar Filly leads Champagne Diva close to home. It's testing 1, 2. On the wire with by the Star photo finish.
My love for you. Coming on strong.
So my name is Robbie Herzl. I'm the yearling manager here at Claiborne Farm, and we've got the first crop of Runhappies this year. Overall, I'm very, very pleased with them. So first we have a colt out of Rapid Repair. He's a really nice colt. Very happy with how he's come along as a yearling. So there was a lot of demand for the weanlings last year. They sold for over 6 times their stud fee, and we're really excited for the yearlings to come through the sales, and we're expecting big things from them.
Runhappy, standing at Claiborne Farm.
Even if it's just 2 sentences, you know?
Back on America's Day at the Races here on Fox Sports 2 and MSG Plus in our feature race. Coming up on this Saturday afternoon, the Paradise Creek, as we look at Strike Silver. Mark Casse, he's been on a roll, including his first ever win in a Triple Crown event.
I tell you what, he looked like he was going to be something special. He made that giant run to capture the Indian Summer, and he's been disappointing in his next 2 starts, Paul.
Yeah, he really has, and yet he broke a little bit better, and maybe they got him up close to the pace. Now at least they know his running style. Now, Fog of War, we know his running style. He's going to be taking, not taking back, but he'll make 1 run.
Yeah, I mean, he's going to, listen, he's going to settle into stride. They're not going to do anything with him. They're just going to let him find his rhythm. And keep in mind, even if he doesn't win the race, it's not the end of the world. It's his first start coming back. He's unlikely to retire undefeated.
That's true.
And obviously they want to win, and their intention is to win. But he's going to just get a good run in here and run well. 3 to 5 is an awfully short price. No doubt he's talented, though.
And again, the long layoff. The big question with him, forced to the sidelines with a bit of a shin injury, and that's why he missed the Breeders' Cup. Here's the 4 pole setter. Damn, Irish Smoke actually won the Grade 1 spin away.
She did, and then she went in the wrong direction. I think Patrick Biancone trained her at that time. Maybe in West Point Stables, to be honest. She started her career on the turf, and she won her debut. Now, she seemed to have improved a little bit in the dirt, but out of the blue, she ran this giant race last time. What if she transfers her form, Paul?
Yeah, it was a sloppy racetrack. Well, they stuck the blinkers on her after she won on the turf, so this will be the first time on the turf with blinkers. Maybe that's helped her.
Yeah.
Meanwhile, here's Pulsate. She comes in up back-to-back wins on dirt. This is a big step up. Her debut was on grass. Didn't show a whole lot.
No, but she's got the pedigree, and she's improved as a horse since that race. So I think there's no reason she can't run. He can't run well here.
He's never gone around 2 turns, and he's not again today. But I don't know why they haven't. But he could be okay at a price.
Long shot. Ian Glass went gate to wire last start. That was at Laurel. Now Joel Rosario hops aboard for Tom Morley.
Listen, it's a jump up in class, but he does come off an easy win.
Mucho. We thought he was going to be the horse to beat in the Grade 1 hopeful last summer off that just lights out maiden score. Now moving to dirt. Sorry, turf.
Did you like Bill's words? I mean,
seems like he's trying.
He's, you know, they're doing. They've really realized that he's not going to be able to compete at the highest level on the dirt. They gave him his chance, and he hasn't done it. And now they're moving to a surface that you could argue he's as well, if not better, bred for than dirt.
Yeah.
Give it a shot, see what happens, and we're going to find out today. Let's go to Maggie.
Thanks, Greg. And, you know, kind of thinking about what Bill just said in that interview, yes, he kind of alluded to the fact that he hasn't really gone on and been what they hoped for after breaking his maiden back at Saratoga. But he also said something interesting, which I tend to look for in horses trying the turf for the first time. He said he's a really good mover, and he is. I watched him gallop off here. He has that lovely, bouncy, kind of floaty type of stride that really translates well to the turf. So feeling fairly optimistic about Mucho. And plus, he just didn't look comfortable last time pre-race to me in the Bayshore. He got a little hot. He just never seemed quite right that day. As we'll take a look at number 8, Uncapped, who is very sharp. Now, he doesn't get out of the gate that well at the break in those 5.5 turf races, but I wouldn't be surprised going to 7 here if he's a little bit closer. He's a well-muscled, well-rounded son of First Samurai, and I liked what I had seen from him, especially with the stretch out and distance. I think he'll be able to handle it. I would tend to agree with his trainer, Brendan Walsh. Greg?
Yeah, gate issues have been a problem for Uncapped, but he really closed well in that stakes event at Churchill Downs.
He did, but they were moving up front. Now, here's the question, Paul. Because you're closing at 5.5, do you necessarily want that extra furlong and a half?
That's
the eternal question.
You don't know. I thought the race before that was better in the 12-0 beaten by Bulletin because he was part of the pace. So he's sort of versatile. If he does break, he's got a little bit of pace.
This horse has got talent. I don't see any reason he can't be a player in this race. And that's my whole point, once again, about Fog of War. He's 3-5, and you can talk about a lot of horses in the race. He is not meeting a bunch of bums here. He's meeting a very solid field, and a lot of these horses have the potential to move forward. Now, maybe none of them will, but a lot of them do, and a lot of cases, 1 or 2 of them will.
If he moves forward at all from his 2-year-old campaign,
look
out.
No, and he's supposed to. He's the horse to beat. 3-5 against this field. I think they're betting the race like it's sort of a bunch of nobodies in here, and I just don't believe that's the case.
Well, his debut, he beat a horse who would go on to win the Grade 3 Bourbon. In the Group 1 Summer, of course, we all talk about War of Will, who he beat, who, of course, go on to move to dirt and win the Preakness. He also, Avies Flatter was 4th in that race, who would win his next 3 all stakes, including the Grade 3 Transylvania. There were some good fields he's beat so far in those 2 starts.
Well, the summer got moved up to a Grade 1 for a reason. It used to be a Grade 2 because it produces a lot of good horses.
Well, it's not graded by the American Stakes.
By the American Stakes,
it's important to note that.
Yeah, it's Grade 1.
I don't think we would make a 2-year-old stake in September, a turf stake, a Grade 1.
Our feature race, it is the Paradise Creek Fog of War making his return from Post 2. Let's go upstairs to the voice of horse racing's Triple Crown for the call. Here's Larry Collmus.
All in line. They're off in the Paradise Creek Fog of War near the back of the pack early on as Pole Center goes out to the early lead. Mucho, Ian Glass, and Strike Silver right behind them, and Fog of War will take 5th inside of Uncapped as Pulsate trails early on. Up the backstretch, where it is pole center in front under Luis Saez, the leader by a length and a half to a well-held Mucho in second. Then Strike Silver, Fog of War going up on the outside, and Ian Glass checking in tight quarters there, joined by Uncapped about 5 from the front. The trailer is Pulsate. The quarter was slow, 23.21 seconds. And they move around the far turn. Pole Setter a length and a half. Mucho second. Fog of War is third now within 2 lengths of the lead as they make their way around the turn. Then Strike Silver, Uncapped, Ian Glass and Pulsate. 5.5 lengths from top to bottom. And up front, it is Pole Setter and Mucho. And these two have a 2-length advantage on the heavy favorite Fog of War, who's coming under pressure after a 46.21 half. They're into the stretch. Mucho is the leader. On the inside, Pole Setter, Fog of War, and Unleashed from the back of the pack. Pulsate is closing, and closing strongly down the center. Uncapped is there too. Strike Silver on the inside. They all have to catch Pole Setter. Pole Setter with something left. Pulsate closing too late, and Pole Setter does it. Pulsate was second, Strike Silver was third, and Mucho was fourth.
Pole Setter springs the upset here, 4-1, as Fog of War suffers the first defeat of his career.
9-1 to 4-1. Somebody pent the money in. He hasn't just improved in the dirt, Paul. Pole Setter's improved. Yes, he's at a slow pace, but he exploded down the stretch.
No, he did, and you knew everybody was in trouble when 46 got put up and then finished in 120, and then he just put everybody away. In your favorite Fog of War, you can see Castellano's asking, nothing's happening. The only horse that's really moving is Pulsate in the middle of the racetrack, who ran a bang-up race.
Pulsate ran giant. He came from dead last. They came home in 34.5 seconds here. Paul, he must have come home in 33.5 seconds or slower. Pulsate ran a big race here. This is a very nice field. I don't want to knock Fog of War. He could move forward off of this. I just think people underrated the quality of this field going in.
Yeah, and Strike Silver got back to where maybe where he wanted to be. I'll tell you what, the 6 horse was all over the place, giving Joel Rosario just a ton of trouble, and was still trying towards the end of this race. So maybe give a look. And for Mucho's first start on turf,
he didn't finish, Paul.
He's just not, maybe the heart's not there anymore.
Didn't it look like he had a ton coming to the stretch? He was right there. Disappointed in him.
Yeah.
4-1, Pole Setter. First 2 starts of his career came on the turf. He actually won his debut at Alice Park, the P-Patch on the grass. I think he might stay here.
Yes, I would think so. His sloppy racetrack effort last time, and now this.
Well, here's your question. Is he a turf horse or a dirt horse? Because he ran really well on the dirt last time. Maybe he needs a sloppy track. He's just an improved horse.
It's a much better field he was facing.
No, I agree. But listen, this was a terrific performance. I'm not knocking him.
Options, certainly, for Brad Cox.
Well, the thing that you love about this horse, he went to the front today. This horse has come from dead out of it, and there's an inquiry on the board.
Oh, please.
Pulsate, the 5. Now, it doesn't have anything on the winner or anything, so maybe there's something that went on that we did not see. That's,
well,
it might be that I did hit the exacta, so it could be because I actually was going to cash a bet.
Would this have had anything to do with the 6 checked very
sharply?
sharply?
This horse was dead last, though. When the 6 was checking, this horse was dead
that
last.
had nothing to do with it.
Well,
okay.
I mean, the 6 was checking midway down the backstretch, and he was in last.
Okay.
Pulsate. So
we'll
unless he was sending out like microwaves or something.
So that was not the issue. So we'll try and take a look and see exactly what it was.
I think it's because I have a 4 or 5 exacta.
Let's look again.
The 6 is giving Joe Rosario problems the whole way around.
See, the 5 is in purple. The 5's in purple.
Yeah, the 5 is dead.
Being told it's in the stretch.
Okay, it's in the stretch. Okay, so we're going to cut to the stretch maybe, and
Let's
we'll see if
we
there's
can
anything.
see what the films are, because I can't wait to come down here.
Not involving your winner.
Oh, there, I'm looking over here.
Widest of all, right?
Right.
Widest of all. Okay,
no.
now look, widest of all.
Ooh, does squeeze that horse behind him a little bit.
Okay,
We'll
so like watch towards right towards the end of this race. He's going to squeeze the horse right to the inside of him. Does he squeeze him out of it right here? I don't.
That's uncapped, right?
Yep. Was the 8 moving?
Come on.
The 5 was moving 3 times as fast as the 8. Now does it cost the 8? The placing for 4th is what the stewards are going to look at.
This would be some DQ.
Yeah, finish right behind Mucho.
Exactly. Now, was 8 going to pass Mucho? That's what they have to consider, because pari-mutually we have superfectas, and in this, obviously, last race, we don't have a
Did he really bother him that much?
Widest of all, this angle will show you a little bit better look. All the way on the outside, starts to come in a little bit on the 8-horse uncapped right there.
It's an inconst. I don't.
It's a little bit sometimes
I'm a little
it's
biased here, so I'm going to stay out of it.
It's a little bit damning because he looks back. The jockey looks back.
Well, but he knows there's somebody inside
He
of
basically
him.
knows
The
that because somebody's
question
yelling,
is-
whoa, 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 whoa,
Right,
and the thing is, when you go back and you look at that, the 8 does come back on and loses 4th to Mucho by about 3/4. This is a tough call for the stewards.
Well, let me ask you this, Andy. I mean, so if you're on a horse, you're traveling 35 miles an hour, and that happened to you, and you get squeezed like
Greg,
that, it's
if
not
I was
a great.
on a horse going 35 miles an hour, I'd have probably dropped off on the backstretch somewhere. So that's probably not the right
Well,
question to ask
if
me.
you're in a car and that happens to you, it's not a good feeling.
No.
Well, I'm going to tell you, a good friend of ours just weighed in who used to
Okay.
ride horses too, Richard Migliore.
And what'd he say?
And he said this shouldn't come down.
Should not. Okay.
Now here,
And I believe everything that Richie says is correct. I'm never arguing with him again.
Here it is
Hear that,
again.
Richie?
Because here's the other part. The other horses float out a tiny bit to make it sort of a squeeze.
And it's a right-handed stick as well.
But then he went left-handed and he corrected it
I think
immediately.
the horse doesn't come down.
Now look at the 8. We can do the pan real quick. Just this is the last part of it. We can get the pan because I want to show everybody the 8 was making a tiny bit of ground against Mucho, but like apples to oranges. We don't need the head on. Let's go with the pan.
We're going to say goodbye to those real quick on Fox Sports 2. This is not involving your winner. It's involving your second-place finisher. You can go online to check the final results here.
No change. No change. We
No
got the
change.
results.
By the
No
way, the
change.
final time, 1:20.3. Pretty sharp for Pole Center. Fox Sports 2, we'll see you Monday, 4:30. MSG Plus, we're back on at 4. We're going to stick around for a moment on MSG Plus.
Okay.
Nice to see Luis Saez with a stakes win. Put that Derby situation in the rearview mirror.
Yes.
You're always moving forward in this game, right?
That is true.
All
I
of
mean,
us.
listen, he's had a couple. And listen, the Derby takedown was not the worst thing that's happened in his life. His brother had an accident on a racetrack. So Luis Saez knows how to deal with a little bit of troubles in
Luis
adversity.
Saez will be in more derbies going forward.
Yes.
on
2 wins
contenders.
today for Luis Saez. Tremendous young rider. And this Pole Setter, very impressive here. That final time, pretty sharp for the 7/8 steer in the Paradise Creek, who now collects his second win in 3 tries on the turf. And for Fog of War, back to the drawing board.
Yeah, back to the drawing board. And Andy was right. Listen, just maybe not. Don't give up on the horse. But listen, this is a bad favorite.
It was a disappointing effort by him, but he'll get another chance. He was just overbet. I'm not.
Yeah.
Can watch the remainder of the cards from both Belmont and Churchill on NYRA Bets or at Twin Spires. So head online to check that out. For our MSG Plus viewers, we are back on tomorrow at 4 Eastern time. We will see you then. Fog of War suffers his first defeat this afternoon. It was Pole Setter. Now, of course, Honey Bunny in the Grade 3 winning colors. Tyler Bays, John Ortiz getting his first stakes win. 5-year-old mare has now reeled off 5 consecutive victories. And, of course, Pole Setter in the Paradise Creek with back-to-back wins. We will see you Sunday afternoon at 4 Eastern time. Take care, everybody.
Warfront, a leading sire on all surfaces and all fronts. His recent Grade 1 winners include Omaha Beach, Homesman, Fog of War, Lancaster Bomber, and European champion U.S. Navy flag, plus graded stakes winner War of Will, and these recent group and graded winners. Sire of the highest price yearling sold in North America in 2018, this son of Danzig continues to dominate both on the track and in the sales ring. Warfront, standing at Claiborne Farm.
It's America's original sport, and no one covers it better than americasbestracing.net. From the sport to the lifestyle, the best races, horses, and destination venues, cocktails, gambling, fashion, and more. americasbestracing.net is a sport for you. Live it, love it, bet it.
Runhappy is simply super!
medication, no problem. Run happy, standing at Claiborne Farm.
Tom Durkin letting you know New York breds start with an advantage. At the sales, buyers pay up to 7 figures. And there's over $2 million in stakes money limited to New York sired horses in the New York Stallion Stakes Series, like the Park Avenue for 3-year-old fillies.
Newly minted wins it for fun.
For fun and money. The winner's share generates an additional $55,000 from the New York Breeding Fund.
Funny Guy's gonna do it.
Funny Guys winning the Times Square division generates the same money. So get with the program at nybreds.com.